Hello, hello. There we go. Right, very good evening. Welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Zimpad. I hope you're all doing well. Sorry for the late start. We're about 15 minutes behind schedule starting, which is pretty bad even for this channel. What's happened is I've had a bit of trouble with the simulator today, which we'll talk about once we get going. But more importantly, welcome to another live stream. I hope you're all looking forward to it. A good fun flight today. We're finally taking the Singapore Airlines livery for a spin on the MSFS A310. We're going to take it for a flight from here in Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam down to Singapore's Changi, the main airport there. Not something we've done before, not a part of the world we've flown in before, so I'm looking forward to it. I have some freeware scenery here for Ho Chi Minh, and I've got the Singapore landmarks pack, although we probably won't see much of that as we fly overhead and in there. I am not on VATSIM, sadly. What's happened is I've lost all my connected services, so I'm so sorry. I know there's VATSIM controllers in the chat, and people have been helping me out with the route and so on. We will use the latest route I posted, but the problem I've run into is that I can't get anything to connect to the simulator. FSU ICPs are up and running. I've got as far as I can tell, Sim connected everything working as I always have done for the last 2 and a bit years, but the overlay won't load. The vPilot VATSIM client just won't recognize the simulator. Don't know what's going on, so that is going to take some serious investigation. But yeah, we're going to have to save that for another time. So don't expect much information on that overlay. I can't figure it out. Quite disappointed, I must say. But still, we will adjust that as required. What we could do is go on the multiplayer server, perhaps, and then people could join in there if they wish to. But anyway, we won't focus. We won't dwell. We'll just enjoy this flight in the beautiful A310. So this is the most recently updated version. Don't forget, if you have the A310 and you have the computer power available, then I recommend you get the updated or the enhanced version from the Microsoft Flight Simulator store. It is free, or it should be free. If you're paying, then you're probably clicking on the wrong thing. But yes, there's an enhanced version. This has been updated quite recently, so we'll see how the A310 is looking these days. Jumping into the chat, as we're late, there is a lot of chat to get through, so I can only apologise. I'm going to do my best, but Mustard, good to see you. James, Andy H1302, thanks for coming along and moderating. Infinite Ewok, thanks for your help with the routing, and apologies we're not on VATSIM after all that. Lauren V2500, thanks for coming along to moderate as well. Great to have you here. Yeah, again, so sorry about the confusion there. But Dave Trung as well. Trung says is talking about the wind and the expected route. So let me just make a note of that because I was hoping to be on VATSIM, but like I say, so we're going to have to make up the route ourselves. So stand by for that. It's always the way. But yeah, we would expect if the wind's above 10 knots, 07 left and right. So yeah, we will see what happens. Otherwise, it'd be 25 left. Cool. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess today. Stormcode, hope you're doing well. Thanks for your help as well. And yeah, it's great to see you. Wild Womble, I hope you're doing very well. Hayden J Robbins, great to have you here. I have upgraded the storage on my computer, so I'm hoping to see some maybe a removal of some of those stutterings we had. We shall see, because my computer was very, very, very full. Birdman, Sean, Martin, Syrup, great to have you all here. Richard and Nick, Roy, Patrick as well, and Paddy, of course. Good to see you, Paddy. I hope you're doing very well. Thanks for joining us today. Good. So there we go. Yeah, I really can't connect to VATSIM Stormcode. I am really sorry. I've tried. Thorsten as well. Good to see you, Thorsten. I hope you're doing very well. Great to see you here. Yeah, I don't know what else I can do here. It's not even the server. My client vPilot just doesn't recognize the sim. You'll hear it now complaining. Please ensure a supported simulator is running. I've not changed anything in it. And I've updated it to the latest version. I've run out of ideas. But yeah, for those of you on Twitch, good to see you here. Thanks for joining us. We've got Hammy and Martin Hawkins. Love that livery. Yeah, me too. James Atkinson, Wild Womble over there as well. Mr. Banana, I hope you're doing well. Good evening to you. Wallace, CTR, good to see you, Wallace. I hope you're doing very well as well. James is going to be flying along, but yeah, sadly, James, we won't be able to see you. Yeah, the Wise Tree says, I've had connection issues on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Thanks for joining us, Wise Tree. I don't think it's a simulator issue. I think it's my computer issue. But there we go. System Lord, good to see you. Yeah, there we go. And Dr. Hammo, thanks for your follow. Right, merging the chats. Good. And yeah, great. Yeah, so happy Christmas to those of you who celebrated Christmas over the last couple of weeks. I hope you all had a great time, and then it'll soon be New Year, so happy New Year to everyone. We did well to get another stream in, so I'm happy about that. So let's make the most of it. Let's have a bit of a relaxed flight then, as we won't have to embarrass ourselves on VATSIM. There's at least one excuse covered. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do some serious troubleshooting to work this one out. Anyway, we are cold and dark here. I have a freeware modification to Ho Chi Minh just to make sure it's a little bit more accurate. I think mainly the taxiways for when we were on VATSIM, but that alas, no, I won't keep going on about it. But there we go. So yeah. James Martin, good to see you. Evening to you. But yeah, here we go. So this is the included. I say included. This is available in the INI livery manager. Really lovely livery. They do a good job with all the dirt and grime, which is something you'd expect on a nice old airplane like this. I'm not so sure about the wing flex. It's very flexible wing. It seems to be. I don't know if that's changed. It feels more flexible than it once did. But look at the detail. Just lovely. Stabaka says my sim deleted all details the other day. Yes, that's not good. Richard Renu, that's very kind. Thanks so much. Really glad you enjoy the videos. And Jim says I changed to USA West service to get online. Well, everything's worth a try, isn't it? But I'm sure it's something running. It's something on my computer that's causing these problems, because I can't understand why. I think it's Sim Connect. Yeah. Yeah, doesn't matter which server I select. It's Sim Connect is not behaving, and I can't understand how or why or what I can do about that. Reaction says my mistake was moving the sim to a new drive. There's some funky magic I think happens in Sims. So my drives, I've installed a new drive, and that is now drive 0, and drive 1 has become where the sim is instead of drive 0. I don't know why that happens. But that's what happened when I installed the new SSD. So that must be something that's gone wrong. Oh, that's a disaster. What am I going to do about that? Anyway, right, not the time to solve it. But yeah, thanks for explaining. That's probably it. That's probably what's happened here. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Stumcode. Gutted. Can't believe it. Right, jumping into the flight deck. So we are completely cold and dark. I have my Dan Air Virtual A310 SFPs ready to go. So let's get underway. We've got the ignition to V-pilot needs to be reinstalled. Okay. Just reinstall. Okay, we can do that. That's no problem. I can do that. Okay, that's good. Okay. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, right. Ignition is off. Wipers are off as well. Throttle levers are at idle. Oh no, don't do this to me. I can't believe this. I've already restarted the sim once for this. And what's strange is I flew this to make sure it would work. Stand by, everyone. Those don't work anyway. Stand by. Okay, ignore everything I'm doing. This is just so I can power up the airplane. I don't think the flight controls are going to work, is my suspicion here. I think we are in trouble. But I don't know if that's just because of the hydraulics. So I might be getting a bit overly pessimistic here. So let's see what happens. Andy says, V-pilot isn't in the MEO, can dispatch it out. Exactly. Oh. Yeah, if I give me a second, then let's see if the see if the airplane's working. And if the airplane is working, which I doubt, then we can move on to the V-pilot. Santiago, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let me see if I've got the V-pilot install available. Nope. Let's find that in the meantime. I wonder why you have to do this. This is turning into a Twitch style stream. Well, thank you for your patience, everyone. Right, V-pilot's going. In fact, before I do that, let me take a picture of all the details I've got on V-pilot as I've got it set up. I'm not too time constrained. It's a short flight today, everyone, so it's only an hour and a half. So we actually have a bit of faffing time, which is what we are most certainly going to use up. Thanks, Roxanne. Yeah. Patience indeed. Patience indeed. That's just part says it's like F1 when there's a red flag. Right, let me grab the settings. I take a picture of it. Yes, I'm that old that I sit there and take pictures of my screen. When I installed the SSD, I had to take pictures of the back of my computer. Oh, let's hope we can find the model matching. We'll worry about that later. Right, back to the sim. Let's just see if we can get an engine up and running. Obviously, no one copy this under any circumstances. I'm now going to do the quickest engine start imaginable. Not like that. There we go. Just get one engine up and running. No, I didn't touch the MCDUs yet either. No. No, I haven't upgraded. Birdman, what happened was my computer was full, so I was running SSDs with like 20 gigabytes spare of 2 terabytes. So I had 3 terabytes. The computer was full, so I put in another 2 terabytes now, and then I've sort of shifted some things over. But unfortunately, when I put the new one in, it seems to be going ahead of the others. So instead of being disk 2, so I already had 0 and 1 and 2, it just changed all the numbers. I mean, I don't know why that's a thing. So I plugged in the SSD and it became disk 0. So my operating system and everything is now on disk 1, which is not really what I wanted. Yeah, we haven't got any flight controls. And yet my stick is working. We just don't have the flight controls. Classic. This is an original A310 problem, which I thought would have been cleared by now. So, stand by. I'll be back in just a moment, and we'll get this hopefully underway, and I'll install V-pilot in the meantime.
straight out departure at runway 07 right.
Singapore, tree 10 QNH, 29.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Great. Excellent. Oh, this is... the dream. Thank you for your patience, everyone. That is a terrible start, but there we go. I thought I'm definitely going to load it up straight onto the... straight to the runway, just so we have some sort of proof that it's going to work, because I don't want to sit there at the gate just for the same thing to happen again. Right. Right, let's taxi off. And then I'll set up. Let's set the airplane up roughly right at the gate. I haven't even got space on my desk anymore. I mean, it's sort of halfway through a Terry's chocolate orange. Let's just set up the lighting. Let's have it a bit like we'll do a sort of vacated, as if we've taxied out and decided not to go, and we've gone back to stand, which is a not uncommon situation. It's something pilots will do. The trick to this is, you'd have taxied out, and then the trick is, whatever configuration you're in, run the after landing checklist as you get off the runway, and that way you can start to get yourself ready for a situation like this. Good. So sorry about that. Thank you for your help in the chat. Now I have some reason to be optimistic that it has also, we have managed to fix vPilot. Limited reason to be optimistic. We shall see. Whilst we're taxiing along, I'm just going to do all the bits that we need to have set up in the background. Good. Right. Oh. Outrageous charts. Not impressed with that. Okay, there we go. So we're going to go in, and we'll just park over here on the apron HS4, something like that. This will be because it's actually, to be fair, all these charts are because of construction, so there'll be subtle differences in instructions in there. But there we go. So let's get ourselves up over towards those dual air traffic control towers. First officer has kindly come to help, but you're a bit late. You missed all the bits I needed help with. James getting padded up. No. Hopefully we won't. Sparky, you are more than just in time indeed. So yeah, let's get ourselves over. No, don't. Yeah, first officer has joined us, trying to knock over the coffee. Hey. So we'll go and park up, and then we'll give it a go. Just a way to make yourself feel tired before you've done anything. Good. Good. And we won't do a cold and dark, obviously. We'll get ourselves underway a little bit more promptly than that. So things we'll need: APU. Flaps up, speed brakes retracted, so slats flaps are retracted, transponder. Standby, yeah, that's fine. It wouldn't be on standby yet, but that's fine for this. Weather radar off, spoilers disarmed, APU started. Good, so let's go and park up. She thinks she's allowed to be late. Do we have some accurate liveries, roughly? Is that about the right one? Viva? That's accurate. That's the sort of livery we want to see. Stumco says, your problem is solved as soon as I hit the bed and shut down my computer. Indeed, I'm so sorry. That is just the way computers are. That can go to off. Anything else? Leave everything else running. What are the chances I park on a stand with somebody on it? Oh, lights. Hit on the lights. Something felt off. Let's get them all off. Oh, not the beacon. Right, we'll park over here. Oh dear. A gear swing going on there. I will try and connect to VATSIM once we are on stand. Yes, yes. Try being the key phrase. Not that that would work with Yoda. Ooh, getting some serious lag here. Hopefully that calms down. Now I do struggle to put the centerline under the nose wheel. That feels right. Oh, not bad, not bad. That'll do. I'm in the bay. Brakes set. APU available. Shutting down. Ah, oh, treats. Very happy. Very, very, very happy indeed. Good stuff. Right. Shutting down. After landing parking checklist, we got APU bleeds as required. Let's put that on. We'll leave it on for this turnaround. Engines are off. Differential pressure check 0. Wow, that's an unusual one. We don't have to do that in the 320. We've not actually done this checklist before, so it's quite fun. Anyway, differential pressure is here and it's at 0. Fantastic. What's next? Light signs as required, so we'll let the passengers run around. Where do I do that? There we go. Off. Fuel pumps off. Windows Pro P off. Parking and chocks. So oh no, not that one. I want to leave that one. And the Pro P and the windows off. Right. So this is an A310 on a turnaround. Excellent. What do you got on the APU? We'll get fueled up as if that's how we're going to do things. Right. Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot. I hope you're doing very, very well. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you all. I hope you had a great Christmas and looking forward to this flight. We're going to be taking the Singapore Airlines A310 from here in Ho Chi Minh down to Singapore Changi Airport. We'll be connecting to VATSIM shortly, so do hold on to your hats as we attempt that. Ah, there it is. Ah! Why did I know the whole airport that would happen? Oh well, that's our responsibility to solve. There we go. Yeah, so I hope you're doing very well and I'm looking forward to this flight. It's going to be good fun to try out the old to our flaps. Try out the old. Yeah, controls are still working. Builds A310, latest version, enhanced version we have here. I seem to have broken a few things by doing the slew mode. But yeah, we're going to do a sort of a turnaround, entirely intentional and exactly what I planned for this stream, and is not at all a feature of being 45 minutes late, which is pretty impressive. Right. See you next time, Noah. Hope you enjoyed it. Mr. Espresso, yeah, the stream was meant to begin at 1700 UTC, but we'll just pretend it was meant to start in 15 minutes, and we're 15 minutes early. Let's do that. Let's say I got the hours wrong. Right. So, we're saying we're not doing a cold and dark setup, so let's think of it in the terms of an A320 turnaround. What would we actually have to do? Well, not so much. You're going to check the main thing, so we're going to have the hydraulics. They're all good, and we can check those down here. Hydraulics, so you check those anyway in case those have drained of fluid in the meantime. Then we can check the engine oil. That is going to be important in all cases, so oil quantity 20, no problem there. And the oxygen, which I think it's on the door page on 320. It's not doors on here, it's somewhere else, but I do not remember the page they put it on. Somewhere there is a marker for total oxygen. Is it on the upper panel? There we go. We've got flow and we've got pressure. There we go. So what's that? Almost 2000 psi. That's plenty. Good stuff. Right. Yeah, there's not so much else we need to do really, because obviously the main things you've just checked. We've just parked up. We put the parking brake on. Yeah, that's on in this aircraft. And we've got the speed brakes retracted. Flaps should be at 0. Strangely, they aren't, but I'm going to solve that by leaving the lever there. That must have just been when we went into slew mode, so position 2. So we'll say it was left like this by the last aircraft. Jacob, thanks for the follow. Finfly, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. The ADs have aligned? I believe so. Yep, nav. Good. Okay, so really that's it for the hardware side of things, and it's time to sort of get into the MCDU and start setting this airplane up. Actually, before we do, let's load it up. No, don't touch that. Let's give ourselves GPU and chocks. Open up the door, connect the jetway. Ah, this is nice. This is more like it. I'm not going to fiddle with the METARs and so on. It sounds like those are a bit problematic at the moment. Loading and balance. Right, I want a 0 fuel weight of 110 tons. So pretty busy flight. A really busy flight. Let's go with 105. Feels heavy enough to me. Oh no, I see. Let's get rid of that. Right. Yeah, we are. That is very busy. Let's go for 106 tons 0 fuel weight. A little bit lighter. And we wanted 14.5, so let's go for 16 tons. As I don't know what we're getting. Well, what this part of the world is like. Billy, thanks for the subscription. I'm so sorry, Stormcode. I'm so sorry. I had no idea if this would work or not. And here we are. I'm surprised because I did actually vPilot. I did an update on trying to fix it, and that didn't fix it. But for some reason, actually uninstalling and reinstalling did work, which I am quite surprised about. Good. Now this is live, isn't it? So if we go to live, it should. No, it's not live. So that's the plan. Then we need to apply. There we go. So we're loading up with those numbers. So we've got a gross weight of 122.4. Oh, sorry. First officer's complaining. Good. Now let's go over to the old McDo. Data is fine. In it, we're going from the because I know the. Is it true that the VATSIM thing that still doesn't work? Not VATSIM. SimBrief connection still doesn't work. I haven't been able to make it work. It does look beautiful though. Someone says, if only VVATS come online. Indeed. Never actually upgraded. Good. That's good. Alternate is going to be, who knows where Whiskey Mike Kilo Kilo is. Some code, most likely. Being a controller from this part of the world. Flight level 340 to cruise. I don't know. One of you will have to tell me. Mr. Banana says SimBrief always worked, but it's the 80s meter. Ah, okay. That's funny. I've actually had no trouble with the 80s meter so far. But I might be tempted not to try now. Average cruise wind of 103.23. MCDU is green because this is the old style. So this was before we had the nice colour CRTs and then eventually the LCDs. And they did have colour CRTs for a while in the 320 family, but no longer. You don't see those very often. They won't be making them anymore. Block fuel, 19.5. Is that how much fuel is put on? Should be 16 tons. What's going on there? 5, 10, 16. Yeah, we got 16, so. 0 fuel weight CG. And we don't get that information from our load sheet. Where does the 19.5 come from? Right, it's ultimate 3.6, so we could go higher. Final 2.2, 0 fuel weight CG. Oh, it's a trip of. Have I done something seriously wrong here? planning a 5.5 hour flight. I was planning a 1.5 hour flight. VVTS to Whiskey Sierra, Sierra, Sierra. Let's try that route. So we were going to go with runways in use. Is there anyone on the line? VVTS Otis, there we go. Departure, runway 25 left. 25 left. Let's start putting the route in. This is slightly out of order, but what I want to do is just work this out. 25 left. Via Zobab, we agreed. One of the Zobabs, we can swap it around later. And Nixiv, yeah, that's all great. Insert. And from Nixiv, we'll take the airway Lima 643. Lima Charlie November. And then Lima 642. Which we will leave at SPOB. And Quebec 801. Absolutely, the only way to do airways is like this. This is genius. I don't know why we have moved away from this system. I think it's fantastic. Quebec 802. Oh, no, 802. To leave it El Lalo. Seems a long way. Lalo. And then that'll lead us into our arrival. We'll just pick some sort of arrival now. 25 left is, yeah, that's from the ATIS. Yeah, no, I haven't. Whatever I've done, I've not managed to make that uplink work. It's just not happened. Anyway, we're supposed to arrive via Lalo 1 Alpha, and then we'll, I don't know, RLS. We'll fiddle with that on the way. Good. Right, here we go. Yeah, I was going to say that's more like it. 1 hour 55. I think it'd be quicker than that. Zero fuel weight is the live zero fuel weight 106.5. Bit of surprise that these numbers are filled in when they're so wrong. 122.1 takeoff. I just can't get the zero fuel weight CG anywhere. I will. Does the CG go forward or backwards as you add fuel? It's not going to make a massive difference. But there we go. Okay, good. So that'll work. So that is a NIT done. That's a NIT B done actually. We've done a NIT A, we've done flight plan. Secondary can be a copy of the active. A NIT B is now done. And finally will be performance, which is going to be takeoff approach. So we know the runway departing is 25. .25 left, then landing on 25 right. And we've got 020 at 4. It's a bit variable. Scattered clouds. Temperature 25. Lovely warm. QNH of 1014. It seems to be dry. Can't see any rain out there. Pleasant warm morning. So, thanks, Trung. Flight levels Singapore will be 31, 32, 35, 36, 39. What did I put in? No doubt the wrong one. 3-4. I think it said optimum was 3-6, so let's do 3-6. Right, so if we press that M, and then we can see 3828, so it gives us the runway from the flight plan, which is good. So that was a little tip you guys showed me. Dry runway heading, again, we can just do 249. Wind is loaded in at 25 and 1014. Weight, we are going with a gross weight now of 122.1. Flaps 15 and 0. I think so. I want that good climb performance. Let's do 15-15 as we have them out. And shows off. Air conditioning on. Calculates. So we got flex 59, 158. Oh, high speeds. Even with those flaps. 162, 165. Good stuff. Yeah, wow. So relatively performance limited here. Convention 1014 we can set. I'm curious to see whether what the elevation is, but there it is. So only basically at sea level. 1014, great stuff. Take up an approach then. So V1 of 158, 162. We'll use 1500 for the acceleration, and a V2 of 165. Wilshan says, rare to say it's dry in HCM City. Indeed, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. That's why I did check. But there we go. Get some lights on here. Good stuff. Right, we're loaded. We're fueled. Passenger signs on. Available. We're not going to use a GPU in the end, actually. Let's see. Systems are good. We're on the pressurization system. Computers are off. IRS. Let's just check the IRS is aligned. Where do they put that in here? Progress. Well, it said GPS primary accuracy high, or it said, but where the actual GPS readouts are, I don't know. Not in this FMS. Engine out, what's that? Ah, so you could swap it to engine out like that. A320 automatically does it, so it doesn't need that button. Reference, there we go, position monitor. Good, good, good. IRSs are all aligned, pretty close with the mix. Great. So let's get that door closed. But let's run the checklist. So before start checklists, I'm going to get rid of all the white lights at this stage. Alright, before start checklist. Copy prep is completed. Signs are on auto. Fuel we have, I'm hoping, for 16 tons, which we've got. Navigation is checked. Oh yeah, well, we're not quite done, are we? Landing elevation. What's the elevation of Singapore? Can anyone help me with that? Humidity is about 68%, which is as good as it gets, as near as I know. Says Wilshan. There you go. Very good. 20-foot elevation for Singapore. Excellent. So it's about sea level. So 0 is going to be fine for that. Thank you very much. What I do need to do is set up the computer here. So we're going to do a flex takeoff. And we said flex 59. Great. Right. So landing elevation, altimeters, brake, anti-skid, norm, and on. They're obviously worried that you're going to forget that. Must have been forgotten. Norm and on for the brake, anti-skid. Next is below the line. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I'm not going to complain at this point. So close the door, close the cargo, get the GPU in the jetway, prepare the tug. Oh, they were prepared until I interfered. Can't stand the drone camera zoomed out like that. There we go. Love the grime. Indeed, yeah, we will get our clearance. So let's close those. And fire. are 1 hour 2 minutes after start. Going to call up for clearance. There's no way this is going to work for various reasons. Wait a second, but we'll give it a go. We are Singapore 322. I do apologise, but yeah, my overlay is just not interested today. So that's the next question. I sort of thought the reason VPilot didn't work was the same reason the overlay wouldn't work, but that appears to not. The overlay's working. What is going on? So yeah, unbelievable. I'm almost more upset about the fact it works now. But don't tell the sim that. Do not tell the sim that, otherwise it will punish us. Oh yeah, by the way, modes and stop attitudes. Well, we'll do that when we get our clearance. Let's do that. Okay, Singapore 322. Yeah, I really don't know what happened there. I suppose I was not thinking the overlay would work because it didn't work last stream either. Didn't even restart it. I restarted the overlay 10 times to try and get it work before we started this stream. Right, here we go. You can see I'm just getting nervous. UN, okay. I don't actually know the name of this airport. I know it serves Ho Chi Minh, but it's not called Ho Chi Minh Airport. It is called Ta Son Nhat International Airport. It serves 32.5 million passengers. It's the busiest airport in Vietnam. So how would it be addressed? They call it Ho Chi Minh Tan Son Nhat. Tan Son Nhat clearance. Yep, so there we go. Tan Son Nhat clearance. Good morning, Singapore 322 A310 QNH 1014. Request clearance to Singapore Changi Airport.
Singapore 222 Sunset Tower, good afternoon, good evening. I currently saw no flight plan from you.
Copy, we'll file a flight plan, thanks. Okay, what have I done there? I did file one, which concerns me that... Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't do the right buttons. This is going smooth as butter. Tan Son Nhat. Thanks, Johannes. And for Singapore 322, we've now filed our flight plan. Hopefully it shows up soon.
Yes, do not Singapore 222.
Right, Birdman says, hit nav profile now or on lineup? I was going to do it a bit later after start, once we get our clearance. What I can do is set the heading by ground for runway 25. Got constraint. Have a look at the plan. Seems like it's roughly sensible departure. Right, getting a bit low on the old accumulator. We do know how to fix that. You can press that. Look at that, and up it goes. Yeah, the airplane is having great fun over there. Let me see if I log into at something or another. Thanks for follow, Fenelda. No flight plan. Why do we not have a flight plan. Oh, found it. Right. That's embarrassing. If anyone can guess what happened there, that was my fault. Like everything today. Singapore 322. Apologies, we have, I think, filed the flight plan correctly now.
Yeah, Singapore 322, the flight plan is appear now, stand by, call you back.
Infinity Bot got it, yeah. It was actually 222 on VATSIM, yeah, I missed it. In all the rush and excitement of getting VATSIM to connect. I managed to get it wrong that time round. I also hope, I'm making excuses now, but my keyboard is a beautiful keyboard, absolutely hopeless for anything except extreme, fast-paced, first-person shooter gaming. It's got super responsive keys, so if you just look at the wrong key,
Ho Chi Minh Tower.
it
Good night. Commit 1038.
immediately types it. What kind of keyboard? It is a Corsair. It's
Solid
just mechanical.
1038, Sunset Tower, good morning.
But with sort of like super speed keys that are designed to activate the moment you breathe on them. What FPS do you play? I don't play any, and that's why it was a terrible choice for me. It has caused me nothing but problems. I can't type emails on it or anything like that without it. I make a mistake every word.
307 Tower.
Go ahead, Scooter 307.
Yes, Scooter 307, Mekong radar is currently online, so initial climb is 9,000 feet.
Initial climb.
We can grab the Corsair K100. Yeah, very nice.
Thank you, Singapore 322, ATC clearance.
Oh, here we go. Ready to copy, Singapore 322.
Singapore 322, you clear to Singapore Changi, Sobat 2 Delta departure. Next ship transition, runway 25 left, initial climb is 9,000 feet, flight level 360, squawk 5710.
Thank you, cleared to Singapore Changi, 25 left, climb maintain altitude 9,000 feet, squawk 5710, flight level 360 is expected. And, sorry, can you confirm the departure, please?
Yeah, the departure is Sobat 2 Delta, X-ray, Oscar, Bravo, Alpha, Victor 2 Delta. Next ship transition, November, India, X-ray, India, Victor.
Thank you, that's the Zobab 2 Delta and the next ship transition, Singapore 322.
Singapore 322, the package correct.
What is going on? Oh dear. Right, there we go. Right, excellent controller helping us out there. It's always tricky when you don't know the departures, even though I did know I was going to do a Zobab. So Zobab 2 Delta. Yeah, that was my head tracking software decided to come online at that moment, having not been there. And then to next ship is the transition, which seems to be all you can do. Here's like a sort of summary page. Zobab. I see. So out to Zobab, and then next is so. Yeah, if that happens with the head tracking on, it would suggest I've collapsed out the chair. That's not right, though, is it? That's the 2 Bravo. So I'm not looking at the right one.
You still unreachable.
Come on, Delta, Delta, Delta. Where's the Delta? Found it. Yes. Okay. Right. So 9,000 feet. Let's put that in. 9,000 feet. And yeah, I'm going to arm nav. I don't see why I wouldn't arm nav now. And then VS and out doesn't matter because that would change once we go, which we decided is this button. Right, so straight ahead, Tango Sierra 015, yeah, then we make a left turn, 220 knots there. If I go to takeoff approach, out of interest, can we clean up? So clean is 222, yeah, I'd say so. For 2 knots, I'm going to just clean up rather than drag the flaps around the corner. and then up 9,000 feet initially, and then away we go. So we have Nixiv, which is, there it is. Good, so that's all worked. Right. Anything else we need to know about this? Position altitude is high, 18,000, 250 knots below 10,000, that's no problem. Great. Yeah. Some code, the best controller by far. Controller's excellent, looking after us here. Especially after we're making so many mistakes. Singapore 322, request push and start.
Singapore 322, Center Cock 5710 and Mama Charlie.
Squawking 5710, Singapore 322. Yes, some parts of the world want this before you push.
Scooter 307.
I'm, however,
stand for.
used to doing it after cleared for push. However, that doesn't change the fact I had forgotten. I was going to do it, but yeah, you normally have it in, but at this point in Europe you have it on standby until they clear you for push, and then you put it to transponder. Anyway.
Singapore 322, push and start is approved, facing east, clear at current 1014.
Push shall approved to face east, QNH 1014, Singapore 322. Excellent. Oh, beacon is on. Never turn it off. Flash sleepers are idle. Windows closed. Right. Blow line, windows, doors closed. Beacon on. Parking brake on. Next is the after starts. So let's go to our. I don't find this flows very nicely, but anyway. To face east. We are currently facing south, so we need to face over there for 25. So I need to put my nose to the left to face east. Good. Let's go. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've missed the tip from Wazair. Thank you for your $12.10 tip. Wazair says, thank you for all your live streams and tutorials this year. Wishing you all the best for 2023. I really, really appreciate it, Wazair.
From Matt Tower, hello. Speedbird 2307, A320, stand 11 with information Bravo, QNH 1014. Request IFR clearance to Singapore Changi.
Speedbird 2307, Sunset Tower, good evening. You clear the Singapore Changi, so up to Delta departure.
Get rid of the chocks. Does anyone know how to make this work?
Runway 25 left.
But yes, thank you so much, Wazette, for the $12.10 tip. Really appreciate it. Wazette says, thank you for your live streams and tutorials this year. Wishing you all the best for 2023. All the best to you, Wazette. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Really appreciate the tip. Very, very kind. Here we go. This is happening. It is happening. So yeah, very, very kind, and I hope you're doing very well. And thanks so much, Wazette. And also, Nikolai has super chatted £5. Really, really appreciate it. Good to see you back on the stream. I hope I'm getting the name right, Nikolai. But yeah, great to have you here, and I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Thank you so much for the tips. So apologies there to Wazette and Nikolai, but thank you for those tips. Really, really appreciate it. Happy New Year to you all, and thank you for supporting the channel. Let's go, tag. Let's go. Yes. Before I get in trouble. Right, let's start up engine number 2. So I'll go to ignition system A, start 2, N2 to 15. No worries was there, but thank you so much for the tip. Really appreciate it. Absolutely love this livery. The only thing I don't like about this particular version of the livery is it doesn't include my favourite feature. And I think on an aeroplane...
Station information current is Charlie, service wind 0203, 6 knots, get 1014.
Ooh, 1014 is still the QNH, but that's certainly... So what I'm thinking there is tailwind. We're getting a bit of a tailwind now. 6 knot tailwind. Sounds like they'll stick to that until quite a high tailwind. Don't want to hit our Manta. Oh, colleague. Straight line, because I think there's someone... I misjudged this. Anyway, engine is motoring, so before that stops working, let's start up engine 2, fuel on. N2 is accelerating, fuel flowing, EGT increasing. Good stuff. Jiwei Lee has very kindly...
Tower, Seabird 257, radio check.
Super chatted SGD Singapore, I think. Dennis, thanks so much. Dennis, of course. And Dennis said, glad to see you fix issues. Thanks so much. Really, really appreciate it. Yes, I'm glad to.
EZ257 is type A320, information Bravo, QNH 1010, requesting clearance to Singapore.
Yes, EasyJet following us to Singapore. That must be James. Brakes are set. Engine's good. Starting number 1. But yeah, thanks so much, Dennis, for the tip. Really appreciate it. Hope you're doing very well. Thanks for joining us today. And yeah, it is a bit of a relief to get.
EZ257 is clear to Singapore.
It helps to get things sorted on stream because you guys are such a help to me. There you go. N2 above 15. Master on.
Thank you there, sorry.
A lot of us are a long way from home today. Love it. Oh, it's 10 knot tailwind. Someone who controls here was saying 10 knot tailwind, no problem. That's great. But yeah, thank you, Dennis. Really appreciate it. 1 hour and 20 into the stream. Excellent. I think we got away with that pushback. We did. And there's no... Well, there is a colleague next to us, but they can do a similar sort of pushback, hopefully.
Speedbird 2307.
That has worked.
Speedbird 2307, standby.
Still available. Valve closed. Ah, that must be the Speedbird there waiting for us. Right. That goes back there. We're going to arm the ground spoilers. Recenter the ladder trim. Flaps are set to 15 and 15. I'm going to get rid of the APU. We're on our generators. Yeah, APU is off. And trim, we said we had quite a nose up trim. 23.3, 1.7 up. Okay, let's run the outer start checklist. Pitch trim is 1.7 up, rudder trim 0, spoilers armed, slats flat 15 and 15, ECAM status checked, anti-ice off, hand signal received, after check is complete. And let's just double check that. Yeah, we have missed it before, 15 15. And let me just check my performance calculator one last time. We did indeed do 15 15. Good stuff. Right, let's get taxi clearance and let's get this right. So we are on, I believe, Victor. So we got Victor or Sierra.
1038, you can make a right turn on Zulu 1 because Sierra 5 is blocking my traffic.
Singapore 322, request taxi.
200.01 by Sierra.
Taxi 20 on Sierra, Scooter 307.
Singapore 322, request taxi. Whoops.
Taxi to 25 left, Sierra 201, Scooter 307.
Singapore 322, request taxi.
Singapore 322, taxi Victor and current holds up of Sierra.
Taxi Victor holds short of Sierra, Singapore 322. So we're going to stay on the sort of inner taxiway, as it were. Lights, taxi, turn-offs, let's go. Now let me move my Terry's chocolate orange out of the way, which was a Christmas present. I'm very much enjoying that. Move a cup of coffee out of the way. I can actually get to my thrust lever. There we go. Right. Brakes released. Off we go. And Pol9, thanks so much, Pol, for the €23.99 Euro super chat. Really appreciate it. Pol says, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year to you, Pol9. Thank you for supporting the channel so much over the last year. And yeah, great to have you here. I hope you're looking forward to the stream and plenty more enjoyable flights next year. But thanks so much for all your support to the channel. Really appreciate it, Pol9. Very, very generous. Very, very kind. And Happy New Year to you.
1038, you can just taxi straight ahead to stand in front.
Right. So yeah, that's Sierra. We're following our colleague. I say our colleague, I'm not sure if they're going with us there. Martin says, move chocolate orange out the way after Christmas checklist item. Exactly. Right, let's get the engine spooled up a bit, get a bit of a brake check in. We're heavy today, 122 tons. It's a serious aeroplane.
Speedbird 2307.
So brakes checked, that's good. Right. And thank Swiss Tony, thank you for the $6 tip, $6.05 tip. Really appreciate it. Swiss Tony says, thanks for all your videos and streams. I've learned a lot from them using the Flyby A320. That's great. Really glad to hear it, Swiss. Thanks so much for the very kind tip. Really, really appreciate it. Happy New Year to you, and thank you for coming along today. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Really, very kind.
Taxi, Sierra,
Really, really
4,
appreciate
Sierra
it.
to
It's
runway,
yeah.
25
Thank you,
left.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pond 9. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Nikolai. Thank you, Wazer. Very, very generous. Right. Oh, have I missed that?
Apologies, yeah, thank you.
Oh, no.
Taxi by
Right.
back
Flight controls.
to Sierra 4, Sierra.
No, we have to do it ourselves.
25 left. Thank you.
Scooter 307,
Full up.
wind 020 degrees,
Full down.
6 knots, runway 25 left, clear for
Full
takeoff.
left. Full right.
Clear for
Neutral.
takeoff.
We've done the rudder.
Runway 25 left, Scooter 307.
Is that Korean Air, is it, over there? Okay. It's great. Love experiencing all the different airlines. Flight control off. We'll put the TreeCaster TA-RA.
4322, behind the departing traffic, Scooter Airbus A320, you can line up runway 25 left behind.
Find departing A320, line up and wait 25 left behind. Singapore 322. Good, we've done that. Captain Awful, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So we are lining up behind. We're going to go full length, so we're going to go over there, I believe. We are in a big aeroplane. Yep, there we go. That is correct. Taking it nice and slow. We're going to have to do it anyway, so let's get the lights on. Oh. Okay, APU's off. Done our flight controls, done the TCAS. We need to put the auto brake to... it's like that, so let's just press it. Maximum, there we go. I don't want it activating on takeoff just for the fun of it. Full takeoff checks, flight controls check, briefing confirmed. So we're taking off from 25 left, that way. Accelerating at 1500 feet. We're going to press this button to get it to go into toga, and then it's going to go into SRS automatically. And then at acceleration, it should revert into the correct speed. So I won't preset a speed. It should go to 220. Other than that, we'll make a left turn, then a right turn, and continue our climb to 9,000 feet. So that's flat 15 and 15. Performance, we've checked, we've got 158, rotator 162, and then 165 V2. Clear on the approach, lining up. Takeoff config. Checked. Transponder TARA. Cabin is secure, TCAS TARA. Packs are on, ignition is just off, and charge not required. 4 takeoff, check is complete. Here we go then. One of, I mean, it took us about this amount of time to get Concorde in the air. Love it. These heavy aircraft do taxi around at this sort of speed. It's quite normal. That's my excuse there. You see them crawling around. They don't turn very well. Yeah, I think somewhere there is centre line on this thing. Okay, does that look quite a short runway? It should be 3,200 metres. Right, nav is armed. That will change to SRS and climb, hopefully. Flight directors are on. Yeah. Okay, who's ready to go? I think the clouds in Microsoft Flight Simulator are fine. Yeah, I think they're really good. I think they are... No, I wouldn't say they're too large. Clouds are colossal things. I think they're spot on. I really like them. That's TCAS as well. Look at that. Traffic in front, heading out. That's cool. I don't know how many it can carry, but this time we have quite a lot.
Oh, fuck.
We have... It says 228. Maximum 238. So quite a lot. It is a wide body, after all.
Singapore 322, 7 wind 020 degrees, 6 knots, runway 25 left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 25 left, Singapore 322. Excellent news. Right, stand by. Just getting comfy in a seats. Hold it on the brakes. Let's go 40%. Do I need to arm auto thrust?
Departure position set. Thank you for your good control. Goodbye. Have a good night. Cabin
No.
1,
There we go.
38.
Brakes released. Takeoff. Thrust. SRS.
Happy New Year.
Heading.
Happy New Year too.
Easy 320, so being up tower, apologies, I'm going to have to disconnect to
Takeoff thrust
issues.
is
Thanks for the
set.
service, yeah.
Happy New Year.
Ah, we've lost our colleague. It's very twitchy at the start of the takeoff roll still. It's just because that nose was steering. Now we'll get that. Stick to neutral, 100 knots. Feel that right wing lifting up. Trying to weathercock, which is spot on, really. Yes, it handles a bit better here than it did at the start of the takeoff roll. V1, rotate. There's V2. Let it weathercock. Positive climb. Gear up. And we're finally underway. Sneaky view of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh. Unbelievable. Totally new part of the world for us.
Singapore 322, contact Mekong radar 129.425. Bye bye, Happy New Year.
129.425, Singapore 322. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for your help. Bye bye. Awesome controller. Absolutely brilliant dealing with us not knowing what we're doing. Gonna have to put in an autopilot here. Can't change frequency at the same time. There's AP1. So we've got thrust, SRS, nav. 129. No, it's gonna be easier to do on here, I think. No, it's not. 129.425. That's in. Right, we should have accelerated by now. But it hasn't. Stayed in thrust SRS, so not sure why it's done that. But no matter. I'm going to manage the speed. No, that's not going to work. How am I going to force it? I know why. You need to arm profile. Of course, profile thrust, profile climb. Acceleration to 250, well that's no problem. It's 220, but we're not going to accelerate it to that by that point. We're above the F, so we'll go to position 1 on the flaps. Love that noise. Right, let's check in. Departure Singapore 322 on a Zobab to Delta, passing 4,000 feet, climbing 9,000 feet.
Singapore 322, Mekong way identified, climb third level 350, unrestricted.
Climb up with 350, unrestricted. Singapore 322, thank you. Right, flaps to 0, 350. You can push it in and it goes in thousands. Thank you to the viewers for that tip. 350. We can set standards. The other way, standards. Struggling to accelerate. Come on, airplane. Meant to go to 250. Didn't like doing the turn at the same time. Should really lower the nose though. Laurie says this is why we give you departure clearance in the US. To be fair, it is on the charts typically. So I don't know if it's on Jefferson actually. Usually you can look up the next frequency. The problem with on VATSIM is of course you don't know which controllers are online, so it doesn't quite work out. Right, gears now going to go to the neutral position. Ignition is off. 35,000 is standard. Speed brakes can be disarmed. Ah, there we go. There's the 250 knots. We're out away. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, busiest airport in Vietnam. The A310 has some limited stall protection, but nothing like modern fly-by-wire, no. Mike Basement says, have you looked at the A330 from Microsoft Flight Simulator? It is a freeware add-on built on the fly-by-wire program. I have downloaded it, but I haven't tried it. No, I've not tried it. I remember... I've heard different things. There was a while where you couldn't use it at the same time as the fly-by-wire or something like that, so I just haven't bothered since then. So I've not tried it, I'm afraid. Right, 10,000 feet, accelerating, lights off. Oh. Turn-offs as well, should have gone off. And the nose light, there we go. We'll let the passengers out now. Quite a short flight, so they can enjoy. We're going to go to airports on my nav display. Zoom out a little bit as I level off at Stobav. Lovely. Great. Happy days. James, was that James? Did you close down the sim? On FAA charts, they do have departure frequency. Yeah, that's it. They do on different charts in Europe as well. But like I say, not always reliable either. They do change, of course. Right. Well, thank you all for joining us for that epic departure. 1.5 hours. That is a record. Actually, I say that's a record. It may not be. Like I say, I think Concorde and possibly the 747-200 were similar lengths. Oh, the simulator. Just beautiful. Have they added the correct wing views? And I can call correct in the sense that what I consider correct. That is not a wing view. I don't understand. Don't understand why that's a wing view. Oh dear. Ah. It's bizarre. Utterly bizarre. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful model, this. I don't understand why we wouldn't have a view. Maybe it's hard to program them in, I don't know. I must confess, I just rely on other people doing the hard work, so. Vertigo strikes again, yes, a bit of dizziness there. Such a great plane, this, though. Like, the noise of the slats travelling and the way the engines spool up, and it just feels heavy, and it feels underperformed. Like, it feels like it's struggling with its own weight, which, you know, these airplanes of this generation sort of, they didn't struggle, but they were more on the edge than these days. Great, 310 knots, making progress, arriving at 8 o'clock. I'm really glad I started this stream slightly later than normal. Could have started earlier. I assume people are probably off, people aren't working today, given the holidays. I don't know though. That's why I normally do them later, to give people a chance to sort of finish work and come to the streams. Yeah, the weather engine in this is unreal. However, these little sort of bubbles here, this is something we've seen in X-Plane 12.
Director S-Pulse, Scooter 307, thank you.
George, hello to you, thanks for joining us. Something says, Mekong area in general looks super surreal from the sky. Yeah, it really does. It's beautiful, beautiful. This is part of the world I do want to visit. This is, you know, like I said, I think we've been doing well actually with our streams. I tried to do it alternating. So a stream in Europe, a stream in somewhere else in the world, a stream in Europe, somewhere else in the world. You know, I absolutely love flying around Europe and doing those streams. What I like doing in the European streams is that I know what's going on in Europe, so it tends to free me up to talk about other things. But I also tend to use that as a bit of an excuse. So I thought today, no, A310, Asia, we can do it. We can do it. After all, there's a Singapore Airlines airplane landing in Heathrow every day. They can do it. Oh, there's texturing. Glorious, glorious, glorious. I don't think we have we don't have a house livery on the A310 yet. It's a strange dimensions, this airplane. So yeah, this one doesn't feature something I put onto my first house livery, the Singapore Airlines tail is always level, so the blue actually goes up and there's white on the bottom of the tail fin to keep it level. And it's to keep it level, I believe, in parallel with this line here above the windows, which is always level. Most modern airliners, this slopes down slightly at the back, but the tail fits on, hence they do that. But obviously you can see here, the A310, it just doesn't, so they haven't got it. So it doesn't. I suppose it doesn't need it to be aesthetic. It would be wrong if it did have it. It would look strange. And in this livery, it's just a classic livery. Nothing needs to change about it. That's why they haven't changed it. What was I said? If you return the reversers to idle around 30-40 knots, can that damage the engines over time, or this vary based on airplane SOPs? It will vary. You know, some airplanes, especially high engine ones like private jets, they won't care so much. But yeah, you don't want to. If you're talking about, it depends what you're talking about, reverse idle or idle. So if you're at maximum reverse at 30 knots, then you could definitely do some damage. You'll be sucking stones and grit into the engines. It's not the end of the world. Probably won't even need maintenance unless you notice something particularly wrong. But you shouldn't do it because it's high chance of spewing gravel and stuff off the runway into the engines. Certainly, if you do it on a taxiway, you'll definitely do that. But if you're doing it on the runway, probably a bit cleaner. Probably, who knows? The reverse idle, you can do reverse idle down to a stop. You can sit at reverse idle. It's not really going to do much. It doesn't generate much. Lauren B says, we need to visit Las Vegas and Mexico City, and of course Detroit. Yes, I was very nearly going to put the Pan Am livery on, but couldn't resist Singapore. Somebody says, you've never been around here in real life? No, I haven't. No, this is part of the world I've not been to. Aha, yes. Great spot. Still in flex takeoff. It should have gone to auto. It would have done that if I'd armed profile. I should have armed profile. That's my mistake. Something to remember for next time. Direct Xbox. Singapore 322. SBOP. There it is. Wind is proving to become pretty true. We expected 103 at 23, 105 20, so that's good news in terms of our ETA. So our plan should be roughly accurate. We've got to progress in this machine. Progress. He says.
Spirit 307 when reaching cruising level.
That's not telling me what I want.
Report to estimate time at S-Pop.
Hey firm, when we reach cruise we'll tell you what our estimated time at S-Pop is. Spirit 307.
Thank you. Right, Singapore 322, same for you. After reaching the cruising level 350, report your estimate time at S-Pop.
Wilco, Singapore 322. Now, A320, easiest thing in the world. So the controller's asking us, what time do we think we'll reach SBOP? They've been very good, and they've said when you reach cruise, because we don't know just yet, because of course we're going to accelerate when we get to the cruising level, and we'll have a higher true airspeed and so on. Now, in the A320, it wouldn't matter. I could tell them right now. However, here, I don't think I can do bearing distance. I can see SBOP, 202 miles, 202 degrees, 165 miles. So I'm going to say Scandinavian area. It also looks like a wind engine. Yes, we should do. We should do a bit of Scandinavia flying. Yeah, yeah. Mike says, I will say though that I'm highly impressed with what Laminar Research have achieved with X-Plane 12. Despite the small quirks and bugs that needs to be fixed, the lighting is just fantastic. Totally agree. I do enjoy X-Plane 12. The flight decks are too dark. I don't know why, but that would be so good. Capri says, try the A320 on Stadia controller, and it really only works very well in CWS. Yes, fair enough. Yeah, flying any of these complex ones with just a controller could prove tricky. So, what time does the sim think it is? 0023. So I think this is the actual time. It's confusing me. I thought it was just a run time. So SPOP is at 0043, and it's probably not going to change. There we go. P speed, P out. We're quite slow. I want to be doing 80. We're currently only doing 78. How do I change that? Oh, there must be a way to do that. Cost X, too low.
Mission control, Scooter 307 will be at SPOB in 17 minutes.
Are you able to report the estate time in Zulu?
Absolutely, we will be there in 1900 Zulu.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to do some conversion here. So we think it's 0224, and we're gonna arrive there at 43. So we're gonna be there in 20 minutes or 19 minutes, just like our colleague there actually. So that means we're gonna arrive at 1902Z, and that is at decimal 8. That's with a high cost X. Singapore 322. We think we'll arrive at SPOP at 1902Z.
1902 Zulu by SPOP Singapore 332. Report your Mach number, please.
Decimal 8, Singapore 322.
Singapore 332, that seems that the wind is more favored to you level 350. In this case, maintain Mach decimal 79.
Mach decimal 79, Singapore 322.
307, maintain Mach decimal 79, operator.
Okay, so we've lost that.
We're gonna try Mach decimal 79. We're right now at 77, so we'll go up Scooter 307.
Let's drop down. We gotta stay at 7. Well, we just need to slow down a little bit. He's trying to put us behind that other traffic. So there we go. Drop the cost next bit to 40. That should balance out. Controller's got a bit of a job on their hands there, trying to work out, because we're all giving sort of very general ETAs there. Lauren says, should be Spirit into Vegas, Volaris into Mexico City, and Old Northwest bowling shoot to Detroit. Very good. Yeah, oh, the bowling shoot. Yes, that great Northwest livery. Mike says, one place where Laminar Research does have a huge advantage over Asobo is with the wedge tool, where anyone can make an airport easily for the sim. Yes, that is great. I do look forward to seeing a version of that in Microsoft as well. Oh, TAT in icing range. Well, I don't think it is. TAT minus 14. Wow. But minus 44. That is a serious... Anyway, I'm not worried. At minus 44, we're not going to get icing, I wouldn't expect. Giuseppe gives to Giuseppe. Giuseppe says, you mean X-Plane 11.1. Right, Mike says, I think the dark flight decks are due to the way they've modelled the eye adaptation. It seems that they have modelled it more like an ordinary camera more than an eye, because when you look inside the cockpit without looking out, the cockpit does brighten up. Okay, yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, I don't like eye adaptation. I don't want it. I don't want it in my sims. It doesn't work. I mean, it's clever. It's clever, but I say it doesn't work. That's all right. That works fine. I just didn't explain that. It's just too dark. Adam says, what's your favourite approach in Europe? Naples would definitely be one of them. Really like Naples. Bilbao's a good one. Gibraltar's good fun. Yeah. Funchal, not the circling. The other Funchal approach is really something else as well. Forget which runway it's onto, but yeah, that's a spectacular thing. Not the circle is pretty good, but it's you're just pointing at a hill, whereas the one on the other end, you actually come in under like a cliff. It's a remarkable feeling. I've never experienced flying like it. And Grenoble's a good one. Captain asks Infian Ewok, what's the difference between rime and clear icing? Great question. Yeah, great question. That is a good question. Rime icing is like it's what you get on the leading edge of the wing. Actually, I wanted to talk about that. I did happen to have a look at some of those pictures. So Flightsim.to had an article about the A330 from Aerosoft coming up, and it showed the icing model. And rime icing tends to be sort of it's cloudy, ridged, whereas clear ice will just be like a sheet of ice. Thank you, Harry, for the follow. In flight, you get sort of leading edge. I guess it's sort of a version of rime icing. That's my understanding of it. and it's that sort of slightly cloudy white along the leading edge of the wings, and then we heat up the leading edge to break it off. An important thing to note is it doesn't form here or even here. It is right in that little gap. It actually forms in what's called the stagnant zone on the leading edge of the wing, a zone where the air isn't flowing in any particular direction. It is, obviously, but it's where the pressure sort of equates to a static position under high pressure in a way. So the ice gets a chance to build up. Anywhere else, like here, the air's just flowing over, so ice doesn't build up when you're flying. Clear ice is not something you'll see in flights. First officer's joining us. Right into the microphone, that was... Yes, what's the problem? Lots of complaints today. So, yeah, you don't get... leading edge ice does not mean the whole leading edge or the whole of the slats is covered. It's just usually the very front of the wing in that sort of, like I say, stagnant zone. Can you hear me, by the way? Or am I just talking over like a deafening aeroplane? Clear ice is something you'd find if the airplane be left overnight or there's cold soaked rain landing on the wings, and that's just a sheet of ice or just solid ice that you can put your hand on it so your hand slides over. Clear ice, very dangerous, very hard to see because it's clear, so you can look at an airplane, it might look like this, you know, all shiny and lovely. It's actually a sheet of ice. There was an aircraft, I think it was an MD-82 that crashed in Scandinavia with clear ice on the wings. It'd been de-iced twice, believe it or not. The captain did a great job, but just it wasn't enough. They didn't catch that clear ice sitting underneath because back then the procedures were different, so no one did a tactile check, and they didn't realise it looked like it was clean. It looked like the de-icing fluid was sitting on top, but it was sitting on top of the ice. So they took off, it all washed off, the wings flexed and broke the ice off, and the ice went into the engines. Anyway, there we go. Four Prawns says, do you have Microsoft Flight Simulator icing on? Good to see you, Four Prawns. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And do I have Microsoft Flight Simulator on? I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I can't remember. We did fiddle with it in one of my streams. So possibly is the answer to that one. I used to turn it off because I didn't like it. I haven't seen the visual model of it for a long time. So the Airbus A330 looks good. It looks a beautiful model, but I want to. And I really like the IC model on the nose cone, but I want some more pictures of the slats to see how they look, because it should just be like a thin stripe along that bit there. Ooh, wrong button. Sorry, can you say again for Singapore 322?
Singapore 322, confirm your final level will be 360.
Yeah, we are happy. We're happy at 35 or 36 Singapore 322.
So 322, roger, so maintain level 350, thank you.
Maintain 350 Singapore 322. Oh, that's very nice of him to ask. Now I should probably stop talking because we're going to make quite good time here, I think. Although we are just out over the water here. Someone else out of Ho Chi Minh, excellent. So how many people are flying with us today? Maybe I did turn it off. Yeah, this is just a memo, TAT in icing range. It's not an ice detector, it's just saying, yeah, the temperature is saying it because the temperature is at the right, warmer than minus 15, clearly it thinks you could get ice. Santiago says, do you know any foreign pilots in the UK industry? Where are they from? Yeah, I know loads from all over.
Yeah. That's not a good idea when you connect, when you airborne at the control airspace. Anyway, set the transponder 3331.
Yeah, okay, 4 pounds.
Apologies about that, I was having some difficulties with my computer. That is set 3321.
Yeah, I probably did turn the icing off if Phoenix said so. That's quite likely. Is that our colleague back with us? So now we're in climb phase. It should be...
Is it 257? You and identify. Not a problem.
Ah, there we go. 3 5. Oh, that's the EasyJet. James is back. Excellent. There we go. And then we get cruise thrusts. Excellent.
Climb flight level 360. No restriction.
It's not a very fast aeroplane, this. I will say that. it's
257, the shortcut for you to catch up with your colleagues.
slightly quicker.
Proceed directly zip.
Excellent. The controller's being nice, joining us up together. Infinity Walk says, how tough is it to predict microbursts, especially if it's rapidly developing storm from something like level 2 to 4-5 with no pilot report and no wind shear alerts? I was asking because if you get hit by very developing dry microburst at like 100 feet approach. Right, so microburst you can't predict. There might be warnings if where the meteorologists expect it. We don't tend to see microbursts in Northern Europe, but there's every chance it can happen. How do you predict them? It's just the weather. If you see a nice big thunderstorm, there could be a microburst out the bottom of it. You've got to be careful, and that's why the turbulence is in the thunderstorm, and it often improves if if you fly beneath the thunderstorm. You might feel like, oh well, we're out of the worst of the turbulence and I can see the ground, this is lovely. But the reality is, I mean, it's better than being inside it, but you're at risk of a microburst. Now microbursts, remember, as bad as they are, they're not such an issue for flying an airplane that's clean or with a bit of flap out. Microbursts are a problem because of the massive change they make. So if you are low on energy, i.e. you've got your gear and your flap out and you're on final approach speed, and then you have the tailwind, so the engine comes to idle, the headwind, so the engines are idle trying to slow down, and then you get that tailwind, that's when you're going to crash or have trouble. So with microbursts, we have the predictive wind shear system. That's really what we're going to use to predict it. The predictive wind shear, because microbursts will typically have rain associated, so you'll get a wind shear ahead warning, and then you'll get a wind shear warning. Those work on extreme changes of wind speed as long as there's moisture in the wind. Now, totally dry air, they can't do it, but with the moisture, that's what they look at. So if they see that change, they shout wind shear at you. So you don't fly through a microburst, you'd have a wind shear warning, and you'd be in a wind shear toga maneuver to get out of it. Now, we do practice those in the simulator, and in the simulator, we'll fly them in some extreme situations, and yeah, they are quite something, but if you do the wind shear properly, you've got a pretty good chance. What's happened to aircraft have crashed by trying to fly through them and carry on, even if they've known they're in them. There's that famous one. So that's typically what would happen these days. You'd get a predicted wind shear and you'd go toga thrust and get out of it. Indeed, Santiago. Yeah, no, there are. If you want to fly in the UK industry, then I know plenty of people who have come from Europe and fly in the UK. It's great, or all around the world. Likewise, I'm sure there's plenty of UK pilots out there. I know there are. Kyle says, when you park at Changi, don't use ground power. Normal practice here is to stay on APU. Interesting. Very unusual for that. Mark says, anyone remember the good old Microsoft Flight Simulator days when icing was like putting the plane in the freezer for 2 days? Yes, I do remember. That's part of the reason I'm not worried about turning it back on, I suppose. Cirrus Pilot says, ice from cold fuel as well. Often see that. Yes, indeed. So you get ice built up on the wings from cold fuel. So the fuel in those tanks, we can actually look it up. Fuel tank is -15. So if you then land somewhere really humid, of course the fuel tank is very cold, frost builds up. It tends not to be clear ice. It tends to be frosty ice on the 320 I'm referring to here. Different on heavy aircraft, I suspect. You get frosty ice, and it's fine until it starts melting, and then it melts into sort of a clear ice situation. Right. MPN says, yes, I was reading a US air crash, I believe, where they got hit by a dry microburst, no precipitation with no warning, and I was just left wondering how on earth they could predict. Yeah, I don't think you can really predict it. You just have to spot the signs. Remember, you don't have to have a wind shear warning to go into a wind shear maneuver. You have to see if the nose is in the wrong position. So, you'd in theory, if you ended up in a microburst, you'd feel that initial headwind, so you'd have the big increase. Oh, first officer's getting upset. What's wrong? What's wrong? I think she's staying. Yeah, you'd have that big headwind, and the headwind would mean that your nose might drop from, you know, on final approach you should be at, I don't know, 2.5 degrees pitch, and it might drop to like -2.5. So that's a big change. Your airspeed might be 20 knots fast, and your engines will be at idle with gear and flap out. You know, these are all signs that you're in a wind shear. Now you could say, well, it's good, you've got extra energy, right? You're in a headwind. But no, we don't work like that. It's out of what we would expect it to be, so we're going to qualify it as a wind shear, and we'll do a wind shear maneuver for it. That would be the theory of entering a microburst and recognizing it as a microburst and doing basically what the wind shear system would have done if you'd had that. Even if it doesn't activate it, we could recognize it ourselves. So, because have you also had an Air Mexico ERJ90 crash in Mexico a couple of years ago due to microburst? Yeah. It's very sad. It's another thing is you want to try and avoid them as best you can, so you don't want to fly and approach underneath one. So if we see a big, say this was our ILS on the nether display and there's a big thunderstorm sitting here, most people wouldn't start the approach. But I'm not judging here. I'm not going to, you know, like the reports are what need to be looked into for those, not just me sitting here. How is your cabin pressure? Looks good. Differential of 8.0, and we have altitude of 5,000.
8257, fly heading 180.
7,000. Yeah. 7,000, pretty good. Time to stretch our legs then.
Easy 257, confirm you have the HPOP waypoint in your flight plan.
8257, can confirm SPOP in waypoint.
But this look like you're flying the wrong direction. Okay, anyway, make your heading of 180 for now.
Oh dear. What's going on my camera? Why can't I move it?
Heading 180 is requested, but can still confirm SPOP is what was on my waypoint now.
Okay, easy 257 now.
What's going on?
Have you out to the Singapore flying 180, climb maintain level 360.
Flight heading 180, flight level 360, thank you.
What's going on with my camera? Come on. Well, they're still better than what we get included. I need to save a quick look really, don't I? Jane says, question, I'm from England and have been interested in being a pilot since 10. I'm 22 now and an engineer ex-butcher with only GCSEs. Is it possible to become a pilot with such little qualifications? Depends which GCSEs. Most flight schools will need you to have certain ones and certain grades. However, not all flight schools need the same things, so look around for those. Yeah, it's initially for entering the flight school or the cadet scheme, they'll look at your qualifications like that. By the time you're applying to airlines, they will not care what GCSEs you've got. They aren't interested. They want to know how many hours you got, how your flight training went, and that's what matters. So there's absolutely no reason to think you can't, James, but you just need to check. And if you're missing like the correct grade in a certain GCSE, let's say your maths wasn't high enough to get into most flight schools or to get onto cadet schemes, then maybe you'll want to consider maybe just retaking that exam, getting that one up if that's needed. But it may not be needed. Just have a look around, look at the flight school websites and see what they say typically, and the airlines will be in line with that. Remember, in aviation, it's all about what they need at the time. So sure, if things are going great and they've got loads of pilots applying, then they'll have very high requirements, and they'll say, well, you must have flown the Airbus for 10,000 hours before you can join us. But then times when they need more pilots and they haven't got enough, and that's when things are good for the pilots, is they'll lower that right down. So I've not tried those camera views, Roy. I've actually had trouble trying to put in camera config files, so I gave up doing that. GFS, hello to you. Ainsley says 10,000 hours. Yeah, I've never seen that actually for a job, but you know, 2,000, 3,000, I've seen those as requirements on type. Yeah, if they get enough applicants, they can do that. Amsa says, I've watched your videos for takeoff and arrival in the A320. I'm really bad at meeting my descent profile. Do you have anything to say about that and how I can be right on the descent? I've got a video called When to Descend, Amsa, I made that video because
Singapore 322, crossing export time 1859 at Singapore radar offline. Monitor Unicorn 122.8. Good night, Happy New Year.
122.8. Thank you so much for your help. Happy New Year. Good night. Excellent. Another great controller. Now I think, according to my clock, I'm at 02, and I said 1902, so I'm pretty happy with that. But that doesn't mean my clock is accurate. Good. So 2 fantastic controllers. That's great. Well worth the effort to get on VATSIM. So thank you all for your encouragement on that. Absolutely right. Right. It's time to start thinking about the arrival before we get into trouble here. Before I start eating more chocolate orange, it's just looking at me. Checkpoint says, by the way, we almost reached the 70,000 milestone. How fast will we reach it? Before the end of January? Good question. Yes, we are indeed getting very close. What are we at now in terms of subscribers? Let me have a look. I'm distracted already. Um, 69,738. So we are 262 away from 70,000. Now we missed 60,000. So since I last did a special stream, we've gained 20,000 of you. So thank you all so much for joining the channel and subscribing. It makes a world of difference. Well, will we reach that by the end of January? I can't say for sure. At the current rate, then yes, we have a good chance, but that depends. You know, if I don't manage to make any videos or streams in that time, it's been a long time since I've done a video actually, but I'm enjoying the streams a lot right now. But yeah, if I don't manage, then yeah, you know, we might not. But hopefully, end of January is possible. We shall see. It may never happen. Who knows? Before the end of the year, Infinity, what else? We have had streams where we've managed to gain sort of 100 or 200 in a stream, but I don't think that's happening today. James says, thank you. Watching your videos has reignited the passion and playing this game. I'll have a look around. Yeah, have a look around. That's it. Just get your head stuck into it and see what you think. I'm sure, even if initially you can't, there'll be a way to solve it. Right. Arrival of... Not a Lalo, that's right. By the way, to those of you sick of hearing my chair squeaking and screeching while we stream, Lalo. Depends on the runway. I have a new chair. I'm going to build it and it'll be ready for the next stream. Looking forward to that. So it should be quiet. I tried it out in the shop and it was very quiet. Roy says, I purchased X-Plane 12, but it is, in my opinion, still in beta. I still stick to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Fair enough, yeah. Checkpoint says, everyone quickly subscribe. If you're on YouTube, if you want to help get us to that 70k, then if you could like the video, if you're enjoying it, that does make a big difference. Just get that shameless plug in there. Serious Pilot says, I passed my single pilot IR revalidation this week, so I'm good for another year. Watch out for the guy flying in the wrong direction and inverted. It might be me. Congratulations, that Serious Pilot. Great news. Always a good time of year to pass any sort of check. So yeah, well done. Excellent. We'll see you next time. We want the 330, says Il Morto. So what 330 are we talking about there? Right. Anyway, I need to work out which runway. Have we decided? There's a lot of talk earlier which runway we can expect in Singapore, Changi. Zero 02 left. Thank you. I'm going to take a note of the weather through my app. 02 center close, 02 right for departure. Aerosoft didn't release the publish release date. No, they did not. No. Changi. Northern wind, 26 degrees, lovely. It's a nice day there. QNH 1013. Wind 26 degrees. James Exton, I hope you're doing well. James says very kindly tipped $3.87. James, I hope you're doing well. And thanks for joining us as ever today. If you have a little message or anything you'd like to say, I will be sure to read it out. But yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for, I believe you were flying along with us earlier. Or you are now. There we are, out over the water. Ah, there's a 307 in front of us. I think there's only the two of us now. Yeah, just the two of us out over the water. So anyway, 02 puts us into this. Phil Norbeck has donated $500 US. Phil, I don't know what to say to that. Phil says, lost US Airways captain Norbeck to stroke last month. Not been into simming as of late, but getting ready to dust off the Toliss for X-Plane 12 in the new year. He loves your streams immensely, even though he hated the Airbus. Thanks again for the content. It keeps many of us going through the toughest times. Well, Phil, I don't know what to say. Thank you for that incredibly generous donation. That's really far too kind, but thank you so much for that. And so sorry for your loss. That's utterly heartbreaking to hear. US Air and US Airways captain Norbeck to a stroke last month. It's such a shame. I'm absolutely honoured that he was enjoying the streams, even if they were Airbus and he hated them, because that is a hard sell for anyone to make. So yeah, absolutely great to hear, but so sorry to hear that, Phil. Thank you so much for that incredible donation, and it's great to hear that the streams have been enjoyed by Captain Norbeck and yourself. Really great to hear. And it's it's the reason I do this is so I can sit here and chat to people, and this is why I like doing this. As I always say, I say this every stream, but I love doing the streams because I get to talk to you all directly and hear about different people's backgrounds, people passing their check rides and so on. But yeah, it's an absolute honour, and I think it's just been a pleasure to be able to sit and chat with you all. But thank you so much, Phil, and again, so sorry to hear that. I hope your year goes smoothly from now on, and that you can find some time to relax and make sure you look after yourself. But yeah, thank you so much. That is far too generous. I really don't know what to say, Phil, to that incredible donation. But yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, incredibly sad to hear about Captain Norbeck. Yeah, really very kind. And Sparky Mark 800 as well. Sparky, thank you for your £10 donation. Really appreciate it. Sparky says, Happy New Year to you and the First Officer, my favourite channel. Sparky, that's very kind. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for supporting the channel. And First Officer is sitting here with me. She's being surprisingly supportive of the stream today. So yeah, but thanks so much, Sparky Marky. Really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Happy New Year to you too as well. I hope you had a great Christmas. And yeah, again, Phil, thank you so much for that donation. And I hope you're enjoying the stream today. There we go. Matthew Presley says it perfectly. Blue skies and tailwinds, Captain Norbeck. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. It's amazing how time and life changes as it does, isn't it? Yeah. That's Serious Pilot. Thank you so much for the $17.99 donation. Really, really appreciate it as well. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing very well, and great to have you here as always. And thank you for supporting the channel. Serious Pilot says, let me get the message right, for Captain Norbeck. So yeah, thanks so much, Serious Pilot, for that very kind donation, and thank you again to Phil. I hope you're doing all right. I hope you get some yeah, like I say, get some happiness this year. Philip Orbes says, hey Captain, I made it, had to work till now. Don't know if you've seen it that I asked a few hours ago. No, I haven't seen, Philip. Do please, yeah, ask away again. Absolutely. We are soon arriving at Ilalo, so I need to put in this arrival. So we've agreed we're landing on 02. Have we agreed Ilalo 1 Alpha is okay then? Got to be, isn't it? The Bravo's the other side. Must be the 1 Alpha. Yeah, a lot of 1 Alpha, and then we decided we did agree on a runway. And we've, or I have managed to forget that. So did we say 02 left? Chalky says, just bought the Phoenix A320. Can't believe I get it to fly. Yeah, it is quite a lovely thing. Ainsley says, nope. Dear. Bravo's are for the 20s. So the 1 Alpha. Okay, great. So we're on the 1 Alpha. That gets us round. Should have the vertical coding in. And then, which ILS are we doing? I've totally forgotten. Infian. Titan says, is 26 too old to start flight school? No. That one's easy. No. Same guy 320. Thanks for the follow. 02 left. Thank you, Infian. And she said nope to Titan's question. No, no worries, Ainsley. No, it's my fault. It's the hardest part of streaming is just trying to keep your brain sort of following one channel of thought at a time. Right, so this goes from Samco. So does this tie up? Does the puzzle connect? Yes, it does. Round the turn, Samco, and then we're going to join the ILS for 02 left, and then taxi charts. I believe this is going to change soon. Is this app changing? I've seen emails, but I haven't actually read them very carefully. Which apron are we going to be on? Well, we'll just park anywhere. Also, I would like an A310 auto land tutorial. It would be a pretty vague tutorial, as I don't really know how to do that myself. I would just be largely guessing, but I could make a video of it. I've been very bad at the videos lately. I hope you don't mind. It's if I've had a chance to stream, I've been using it to I don't want that. I've been using it to stream instead of make a video, really. No, she's thinking of leaving. The FO is thinking of leaving. She's had enough. Right, what's the APIPA? Where's the APIPA? Does expect radar vectors, but there's no control online, so we have to do that ourselves. Samco, APIPA, there it is. Samco is the holding point, I see. So yeah, let's see if that works. So ESBM will clear the discontinuity. Goes to... No, you're leaving now. You're going to leave, you're going to stay. Sorry, I'm talking to the first officer here. She's in a very strange mindset right now. Now she's rubbing her cheeks all over the desk. Plan, zoom in. Nope, she's staying. She's not going anywhere today. Very unusual. She's been left alone a bit over the Christmas period, and I think that's made her particularly keen to be in company. Sanat, Akipo, Adnik, and there's the ILS. Great stuff. Let's tune it now before I definitely forget. 1109, course 023. I'm imagining a huge, great runway. 4 kilometers. Easy, low auto brake. Why is it flickering? It didn't used to do that. Alright. That's with my TCA switch. Doesn't seem to work. So yeah, there we go. Cat with strange mindset seems normal to me. Yeah, she's in a mood. She's still not allowed in the lounge, which is her favourite room, because of the fact she eats the tree and it's going to make her ill. So we'll have to take the tree down soon so she can actually go back in there. Patrick says, wow, Phil, very generous indeed. It was incredibly generous, Phil. Thank you so much. Mark says, when it comes to odd and even altitudes, if you were, say, flying on a heading of 170 and you change to, say, 200, would you have to change altitude because it doesn't change at 180? No. No. It's just a sort of average over the route or that section of the route as to which level you'll be at. So if you're doing a long section, but if it's just a short bit on a heading or you're avoiding weather, then no. The controller will have to sort of coordinate that themselves. Born lonely FO, says Lauren B. Yeah. Yeah, she has now left. She's abandoned me. She'd probably be back just at around 150 feet, usually, is when she decides to come back and join me. Good. Anyway, that's the arrival. We've got the course. It is a 3-degree ILS. Which is no problem there. 3,500 feet, platform of, and that's above sea level, so that's pretty good actually. It's quite long ILS, 11 miles out, yeah. Hayden, thanks so much for the £3.10 super chat. Thanks so much, really appreciate it, Hayden. I see what you did there, £3.10 of course, and thanks so much. And Hayden says, so sorry for your loss, Phil Norbeck. Yeah, indeed, I'm sure we can all feel that, absolutely. And Phil's been a big part of the community, so we've been chatting to Phil for a long time, so yeah, very sorry to hear that, Phil. But yeah, thank you indeed, Hayden, for the very kind super chat. I'm sure many of us echo your sentiments. What was this? Says the FO's after chocolate orange. That reminds me, I'm going to have some. Right, got to the center arrow coming up in a little while. That's no problem. Progress page. Let's put WSSS in. Just give us a distance, 215 miles to go. Plenty of room to go. Fuel prediction is looking like we're going to arrive with 8.1 tons. If I just work out what we should arrive with, or what we need to arrive with. We need to arrive with 3.4 plus final reserve of 1.9. Which is obviously 5.3 tons. So we got about 3 tons extra. So I took a ton and a bit extra. We've saved a bit of fuel on the route. So that's good news. That's all working out nicely. Where is it going now? Hopefully it turns right. So there it goes. Good stuff. Nick K. Nick says, super chatted £5. Nick says, sat with my partner. He just said, it's like having a... Sorry, I just heard there's something going on outside the house there for a second. Nick says, sat with my partner. He just said, it's like having Test Match Special on in the background. Very relaxing. He's so right. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Nick. Thank you so much. And thank you for the kind words to your partner. And thank you for the very kind donation. Really appreciate it. I'm glad, yeah. One of the most, I used to get it a lot. These days people are used to my voice, I think, but I do occasionally get a comment talking about my voice, because when I remember when the channel first grew, I would hear that. I got so many comments talking about my voice. so many. So thanks so much, Nick. Really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great New Year too. Yeah, very, very kind. Very kind indeed. So yeah, of course, thank you again to Nick, thank you to Hayden, that Cirrus pilot, Phil, of course, and Sparky Markey. Really, really appreciate those, and James, yeah, appreciate those very kind donations. Roy says, I'm so happy to be part of this aviation community. All nice people who share the same passion. So sorry for your loss, Phil. Quite a story. A happy new year to you all. Indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree. Right. So we do have a bit of time, but not all the time in the world. So what else do I need to do? Let's think what we're going to land. So I've always just done full flat landing. Should we try, let's do a reduced flat landing. Let's go for 2020. And I'll put that in here. 2020 for landing. Gives us a VAP of 149. Pretty fast, but nice long runway. And let's put in the MDA. In real life, this stuff takes 2 seconds, but when I do it on stream, it's yeah, a bit of a process. MDA of 222. And I'll just put a little bug on here of 200 feet as well. 222. Exactly 222. There we go. If we go around straight ahead initially, then a left turn 355, climbing to 1,000 feet, then we'll climb left turn to 4,000 feet. So 4,000 feet initially, basically. Climb to 1,000, then a left turn. So yeah, keep climbing. So climb, passing 1,000, left turn 335. So actually, left turn at 1,000 feet. I am indeed on VATSIM GFS. Matthew Presley says, just got to use your PA voice. That's funny. That the whole thing. It's a big thing in America. I know all the comedy shows use it as a reference, and it's on Family Guy and everything like that. But I don't know if it's a stereotype in Europe as much. I don't know. I try very hard not to do it on stream and on PAs, but I'm sure I do. Adam Cooper says, my Tobii eye tracker got delivered this morning. Having great fun with it, learning the sim all over it. Yeah, it's quite a thing, isn't it? I do enjoy it. Adam says, what is people's like for chocolate orange? Really can't get into it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a particularly Christmas thing. Mark says, I love a chocolate orange, but it has to be plain chocolate. Can you still get it? Ah, no, this is an orange flavoured one. There is a white chocolate version. Brandon says, can we do a go around for fun today? We did a go around in the last, was it the last, there's the, was it the last 310 stream? Or was it the one before that? I think our arrival flight into Gatwick, our delivery flight, we had to go around because somebody rolled into the runway. That was quite an experience. We shall see what happens. I won't plan to go around just because it's getting late, and if I don't eat soon, my chocolate orange only goes so far, keeping me alive. James says, everyone has a radio voice. It's crazy. I just did some stuff for TC at work, and it's awful seeing it. Like, it's hard to hear yourself back always. Yeah, always. Mark says, thanks. I saw a video on YouTube about cats and Christmas trees. They love destroying them. She doesn't like destroying the tree as much as she just likes eating it. It's very strange. Which, unfortunately, if she pulled the tree over, at least she would. She'd probably be alright. But if she eats enough of it, it is just made of plastic. So yeah, that's not great. So James doing stuff for TV. Excellent, James. Excellent. Ah, there you go. Matthew says, I think it comes from our GA backgrounds. Trying to keep the intercom mic hot when giving in-flight instructions. Otherwise, it will always drop the beginning of what you're trying to say. So we'd use the interesting. And he says, my cat has taken to eating the Christmas tree too. It's got some fake snow stuff on it, so I'm having to go. Yeah, Ainsley, exactly. We've got the fake snow on ours, and it's become such a problem. I wonder if that's what she likes more than the actual tree. I don't know. I don't know if it didn't have the snow, whether she'd do it. But yeah, she actually manages to pull the fake, pines off as well. So it's going to have to come down, yeah. But the current strategy is we lock her out of the room. But if she gets in the room, she's eating it within 2 minutes. Yeah. So you've got to be very careful. Right. Carglass says, my cat just sits under my tree. Excellent. You're very lucky. Matthews says, that's my idea of where it comes from. Yeah, indeed. I don't have the A320 flight box Indeed, and I don't have the mini throttle from Throttle Tech. What's that? No, don't have either of those. Seb. Sorry, Brandon taking a guess at where we fly. Chat is going fast. I do apologise. I'm doing my best. The fake snow is really, really bad for Cats 2. Yeah, I know. That's it. That's why she's not allowed anywhere near it. But and we know she does it now, so we don't tend to. She doesn't get any of it, but she does try so hard. So hard. Right. Fish and chips being delivered to 320 Sim Pilot's house, 909 Winchester Street, RAF Luton. Thanks, Aidan. Well, thanks for the subscription. Philip says, hey Captain, important question because I didn't find a video showing your rudder sensitivity settings and the rudder you use. I have a hard time with my rudder pedals, Thrustmaster TFRP. Yes, I struggle with the Thrustmaster TFRP. If that's is that the cheaper Thrustmaster one, sort of the £100 one? I didn't like it very much. I've got the Logitech Cytec pedals. I prefer them because they're wider apart and you can feel the center point, so that way I don't find myself struggling. I find the Thrustmaster ones were too close together. That's my experience of it. So yeah, that's where I've ended up. But I don't have a video specifically on the rudders. Seb has super chatted £10. Thank you so much. Seb says, thanks for another great stream, Captain. Just gearing up to hit some ATPL, study hard in January. Met is unpleasant but necessary. Happy New Year. Met is unpleasant. It is necessary, and it's also it's one of the topics that you use more than any of the others when flying. So that's the only thing with Met. It's a huge topic to learn, but there's lots of stuff you'll study that you don't then use, frankly. But the Met stuff is if you let yourself be interested in it, you're going to get to see that in action, and it's fascinating, and you'll see the charts and the tropopause and all this stuff. So yeah, but I know what you mean. I found Met incredibly overwhelming. It's a huge topic to learn. But thanks so much, Seb. Really appreciate the £10 super chat, and thank you for supporting the channel. Really, very, very kind. Johannes Toliss as well, so super chatted. IDR, which Hayden says is Indonesian rupee. Thanks so much, Johannes, for the super chat. 50,000 rupee. Really, really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. Thanks so much. Thanks, Hayden, for the conversion. But thank you, Johannes, of course, for the very kind donation. And Johannes says, my condolences, Phil. Of course, I think we can all agree with that. So, yeah, all the best to Phil. And thank you, Johannes, and thank you, Seb, for those very kind donations. And Happy New Year to you both. Absolutely. Right. Do you like coffee or tea? Either. Tea in the afternoons with something sort of sweet to eat. Coffee anytime. I tend to only have decaf now anyway. And then was a question I was trying to answer. Where has it gone? Infinity Walk says, got my cadet pilot assessment centre coming up. Any advice? 1. Multiple choice on instruments and Airbus versus Boeing. 2. Group scenario. 3. Group debate. No idea what to expect. Though I did want to ask, how do you approach decision making in the cockpit if there's conflict? Whoa. Infinity, those are some big questions. Multiple choice on instruments and Airbus. I'm not sure what you mean by Airbus versus Boeing. Group scenario and the group debate. So just have a bit of some tips. You need talk to as many people as you can, but be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone you're not, because that will show up. And yeah, be enthusiastic about flying as you want to be, and just have some general idea of some things going on in the industry, so you've got something if it is going to be a debate about something industry related. So just have some some of the big news topics or some recent information about stuff that they might talk about, but it depends where you're going as to what those topics will be. It really does vary a lot. Could be, well, I wouldn't even like to guess, but I would certainly make sure I knew a bit about the industry. So some recent stories about, I don't know, things that affect industry these days, the pandemic, the war, fuel prices, green energy, this sort of stuff. Single pilot flying, maybe, I don't know. Just so you've had some thought about it before you get in there. But maybe they'll tell you what the actual debate might be about in advance. I don't know. Tricky one. Group scenario, make sure you just don't sit there quietly. Make sure you do contribute. Don't interrupt other people, of course. Group scenario is just about showing that you can contribute to a team and you can make your voice heard in group of people, but also you can listen to other people. You can actively listen and take it on board as well. Same for the debate, really. So make sure you you can express yourself and take on other opinions and listen to other people as well. All part of it. They want to see that you're someone who can be worked with, really. Big questions though. Good luck, all the best in engineering work. I hope it goes well. I really do. Adam says, how do pilots and cabin crew reduce the risk of DVT? So for pilots, we have our feet up on these pedals, so we aren't locked in one position for too long. Now, I don't do long haul, so it's not such an issue for me. I'll get up and walk around at least every couple of hours. But we get up and go and use the facilities in flight, that sort of thing. But remember, we can actually stretch out. So we got your foot rests here, you do it on the 320, so your feet go up and down, all this sort of stuff. So we have a bit of a better position in that we don't get locked in the same way. Infian says, I was just told Airbus versus Boeing, which I assume is like comparing ICAS, ECAM, CDU, MCDU. So is that the debate, Airbus versus Boeing? No worries, Infian. That's just my pure opinion based on what I know from sitting here. So make sure you get information from people who are more in the know than me. Is it true that the real A310 does not reliably automatically in profile mode meet descent and speed constraints as well as the 320 does? I can't tell you about the real aircraft, David. Sadly, I've never flown the real 310, so I don't know for sure, but it sounds like it from what I've heard. That is correct. Right, we're starting on to our arrival now. So our first constraint, PBAP below 210. There's PBAP. I'm going to put it onto constraints 210B below, so it's in there. So let's just put it in the end of the arrival. Let's put in 6,000 feet. Actually, let's put in 210. Will it start the descent for us? Is it like a Boeing? I don't remember now. Let's see. So anyway, we've got the arrival. We know the MSAs are low, 1,700 feet, and then it just climbs 2,000. We know the go around. We know we're going to join the ILS for the left. It's 3 degrees, nice long final. We're going to arm the approach. We've got it tuned, and we will display it with ILS up here as we get closer. And then after landing, we're going to vacate off to the right of the runway, wherever we can, probably Whiskey 4 or 3. And just go and park wherever we can. Aussie Gamer VH, good morning to you. Aussie says, good morning, mate. Greetings from Melbourne, Australia. Greetings to you. Good morning. I hope you're doing very well. Great to have you here. I hope life is going well for you down in Melbourne. So it's in profile out, but we might just do like a profile descent. We should probably check the fuel as well. Let's make sure we have enough fuel. Total fuel on board, still 9.5. So fuel position is looking good. A ton, it reckons, to get us to the ground here. Not unreasonable. And there it is in the center, inner, and then the outer's 3. That's funny, it doesn't use the... It's not quite what I expected. It's already drained the trim tank, or it's drained the trim tank. So center and outer, there we go. Okay, yeah, that does make sense. Outer's feed directly, there we go. Slightly different setup to the 320, as you'd expect. So there we go, there's the descent. It isn't doing it. How do I initialize it? Retard profile descent. There we go. Okay, so I've pulled it and it seems to have stayed in profile, so that's good news. Engine's idling now. We're slightly higher on the profile, so we might use the speed brakes a little bit. Pull altitude to arm descent in profile. Thanks, David. Thanks, Phil. Yep, Phil says you pull and arm PDES. Excellent. So there we go. Retard PDES. Now we have quite a high Costex, although I did lower it, so actually I think we'll be okay. Yeah, Costex 40, so that should work out. The descent speed should be within reason, and it's got the speed limits there anyway. Jack says, I just finished a flight with the A310 into a very stormy New Orleans. I could not get the aircraft to capture the glide slope on the ILS. Does it have to be in profile mode when capturing glide slope? Shouldn't have to be. No, you just make sure you got the ILS tuned. Tune it here, set the course, and put ILS here. You need to have ILS here, otherwise it doesn't work. I'm going to do it now, in fact. I don't know why it's in nav. Yeah, I think we can leave that there. I'm going to do it on both sides. There we go. Let's double check that tuning. 1109 023. A3. Now I did have a whole list of tips and tricks for the A310, so I can find it. Oh yeah, I need to synchronise the hardware for the flare, so I must remember to idle the throttles because it was auto idle, otherwise it will spool up when it turns off. I'm going to arm the localizer with VL. I'm going to arm land for the approach mode. VL will just do the localizer. Tuned the ILS, we've set it up, set it on the EFIS. If we do a go around, we're going to press nav and profile climb, so we need to make sure we get it into nav mode there. Oh yeah, we can synchronize the heading bug. I love this feature. Click. Just click it in. Heading S, we talked about heading S, so heading S is active on the heading bug, but heading mode otherwise isn't. Yeah. 4 Prawns, thank you so much for the $48 tip. 4 Prawns is very kind. 4 Prawns says, always look forward to your streams and great community chat. Thank you, and here's to a fantastic new year. 4 Prawns, that's very, very kind. Thank you so much for supporting the channel as much as you have. You've done a huge amount over the last year, and yeah, really, really appreciate it. Thank you for that very, very generous tip. Glad you enjoy the streams. It's great to have you here, and yeah, the community just fantastic. So thank you to you all for coming along and chatting. It is entirely what this channel is made out of, and yeah, fantastic. Here's to a fantastic new year to you as well. Thank you for Prawns. Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel. Very, very kind. Very generous of you. Let's get some engine anti-ice on. Let's go slightly. Yeah, look at that. It does spool up. That's correct. I'd like to see that. That's a great detail. We are back on the VDEF profile, so that shouldn't affect us too much to put us off where we want to be. I haven't. Adam says, have you ever flown to Gibraltar? Yes, I have. It is amazing. SPY says, thanks for your awesome channel. Have loved your stuff for years. I've just started my new job building carbon fibre aircraft. Unbelievable how lucky they are. Amazing. Well, that sounds like a fascinating job, SPY. But glad you enjoyed the channel. And yeah, it's hard to believe that's true. But yeah, it's been years we've been here. So yeah, great to hear it. Thanks so much, SPY. And yeah, carbon fibre airplanes, I can't imagine. I mean, airplanes are very light anyway, so that must be quite something. Peter DR says, before I leave because of dinner time, I wish you happy and healthy 2023, and thank you for all your live streams. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you, Peter. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Happy New Year to you. Enjoy your dinner. And again, 4 Prawns, thank you so much for that tip. Really, really appreciate it. And of course, thank you to Phil again. The 500 sitting there. That timer is going to be a long timer. Unfortunately, it's going to be longer than the stream. Could have done a long haul stream for that one timer. It would stay up the whole time. Amazing. Can we move these bugs? I think we can. There was somewhere you could click. I'll stop messing with it before I mess it up, but there we go. Anyway, right, 21,000 feet. We've only slightly missed that. We have missed it a little bit, and round we go. And then it's going to slow down to 220. I'm going to imagine air traffic control lets us keep our own speed, so let's see if we can do that. So let's go for 250. So autothrusters aren't, weirdly, and I'm hoping as we get back to 250, it will automatically engage on its own. They got rid of this system. In the 320, that would just say speed straight away. But now it's descending in speed. Yeah, so this whole swapping speed over. Let's see what happens. I suppose it's because it's going to be in like an open descent now. There's our banana for 21,000. Let's keep going down. So platform, we know the MSA in this area is 1700. Sam Cove, 4,000 feet. Let's set the QNH. 1013. Yeah, that's all good. So we're now below the profile because we're going faster because it wants to be back at 2. Oh no, it's going to slow to 220 eventually. So what I'm going to do. Actually, with the banana, that's working out about right. 4,000 feet, just before Sanat. Giannis, thank you so much for coming along. See you next time. Let's see. Abu says, I guess it's harder as it's on aircraft. Yeah, it's just different. It is different. So Sanat above 4,000, that's what we're going to make. So we're descending a little bit fast. So I'm just going to pull VS and let's just do 1,000 feet per minute for a little bit. Get ourselves back onto the vertical profile. We can actually be a bit above the vertical profile and then descend down. That will work just fine. And then speed mode's engaged, VS, there we go. And yeah, 4 prawns again. Thanks so much for that incredibly generous tip. Really, really appreciate it. Some code says in A320 everything is where you expect it to be. Yeah, it's amazing design. 320 is, yeah. Matthew says, so the long haul DVT stuff isn't something we have to worry about too much. We actually move more often long haul than I did when I was flying short haul. At most, I only spend 4 to 5 hours in the seat at once. There you go. Yep. In Europe, short haul is average 2 hour flight maybe. Rare to end up at 4 hours. It depends who you fly for, I suppose, and what sort of flying you do. But there's a lot of places within 2 hours. And then there are some that are longer, but you'll get a mix of that, so you don't tend to spend more than that sat in the seat. But it's interesting what Matthew's saying, because of course on long haul they'll be swapping seats and going to the bunks and all sorts, so yeah, and you have the opportunity to get up because workload is just lower. In short haul you can't start walking around in the climb or the descent really, so you tend to find yourself a bit strapped into the seat for too long. And if you're not going to do the walk arounds, you have to make sure, I'm very careful to make sure that if I'm sat in the seats, close that door, there we go. If I'm sat in the seat for the turnaround, I'll make sure that I get up and walk around anyway, because otherwise you park up and then if you're not doing the walk around, you're doing the setup, you just set everything up and then before you know it, you're all back in your seats getting briefing and trying to go again, and that's not good. You need to walk. It's definitely very important. Prawn says, I can't always contribute in other ways as I don't know much about Airbus. So no, you don't. No one needs to contribute, but that's really appreciate it, Paul Prawns. Thank you. I don't know much about this one, to be honest. We're just making it work for ourselves. Matthew says, especially over the Pacific, workload is real low out there. Yeah. Goodness me, I can't imagine flying over the Pacific. When I look at a picture of the globe or Google Maps or something or Flight Radar and I see those little airplanes out over the Pacific, it makes the Atlantic look like, well, nothing, because to us in the UK the Atlantic is the big deal, right? It's you're crossing the Atlantic, that's the big flight, that's the longest sort of stuff people do. No, it's not the longest they do. People do 12-hour flights from the UK obviously out to Tokyo and places, but crossing the Atlantic is quite a novel experience. It's the largest bit of water you'd have to cross typically, and then you see the Pacific and you think somebody flying from America. Oh goodness me, yeah, I can't imagine trying to stay awake over the Pacific in the dark. David says, I think it's crazy how Airbus went from 310 to 320 cockpit design. It's just such an insane jump, and the A310 doesn't look outdated. No, it's not. It's not outdated. They did a good job. Agreed. This is just there's too many buttons, and they knew that. They changed it. They improved it, no doubt. Right, next will be the approach checklist on here. We've done landing elevation. This is all set up. Got our auto brake. Got our flaps. Got our ILS tuned. Got our ILS up on here. This is set up. We should put this. I think we should put this to -5. I think that's what they do to stop spurious eyeballs or something like that. It seems to be a common thing. Right, we're at 15, so we need 30. We need 45 miles plus slow down. Let's say we need 50 miles from here. We have got way more than that. We're actually quite low. This is quite an aggressive descent put in by that arrival. Because says, I have a 19-hour flight from the UK next week. You must be going to Perth. love to do that flight. Flex says, do you find Microsoft Flight Simulator gives you bad habits? Does it keep the pilot skills sharp, or does it have no effect? I would say, I would hope no effect. It keeps me interested. It makes me look up things, and when I'm making videos, I'll end up looking up different parts of the Airbus and so on. So that's good. And there is no doubt in my mind that if you want to just practice your scan, so as airline pilots that use the automatics a lot and fly modern aircraft, we can sometimes lose our scan. And by scan, I mean flying purely in instruments, no automatics, speed, vertical speed, heading, vertical speed, etc. So the scan is, you start with your artificial horizon. Everything's based on that, because everything that is the sort of the root of what flying is, right? And then you'll go check your speed. Okay, 250 is fine. Back to your artificial horizon. And then you'll say, let's check the altitude. It's fine. Back to the artificial horizon. Let's check the heading. It's fine. Back to the artificial horizon. And let's check the speed. Or a bit slow, adding a bit of power. Back to the artificial horizon. Altitude, still good. Back to the artificial horizon. Heading, down here. And you'll do that. But then as you get... Well, and you'll also include, if you want to make your life much easier, the vertical speed indicator. But that's the secondary one. So it's a T shape like this, and you do this. And you have to do it like this. There's no alternative. You need to keep all of these things in your scan, and it can break down if you don't practice it. So there's no doubt in my mind that flying on simulators at home is good practice for that. So if you end up flying raw data, or you want to really give yourself a challenge, then you can sit there and I could just take out all the automatics and fly a nice SID or star. Now it's not realistic, you know. We're flying on these vectors and radials and so on, you know, and it's great fun doing it, but you'd have another pilot with you and so on. And the reality is most of our difficulty in the sims and so on isn't from things like a scan. Every now and then, you know, you'll do a check flight where you will be expected to prove you could still do that. And you can, but it's just nice to give yourself a bit of confidence with it. That was a long answer. Apologies. MPN says, I think it improves your knowledge a little bit. For example, the EK aircraft that crashed during a go-round at OMDB crashed, but the captain recently converted from Airbus to 777, didn't know about go-round procedure and FMA indications. Yeah, so that sort of stuff should be covered in the training in the real simulators. As I always say, this is not reliable. Nothing you do here you could then take into the real world, because I just can't prove that this is what it would do. Hence the certification of these simulators is massive. Yeah, that's the only thing I would say about that. You can be very, very careful what you take from it. But the scan is the scan, right? So the basic stuff is there. And I wouldn't even bother like saying, well, the power setting, oh, it's using 68% at this weight, because, you know, I don't know if that's accurate. But what I can do is do the scan, because it doesn't matter what the power setting is. I just do the scan, and I'm practicing that. In a way, it's better that the numbers don't match, because then you can't learn them and you have to just do the scan. Did I mention the scan? Have I mentioned it today? I don't know if I have. Indeed, knowing more about the aircraft is certainly a good thing. Yeah. Abood says, my brother is a 777 first officer at Emirates. Life working there seems so nice. Excellent. Glad to hear they're enjoying it. The positioning of the instruments are still based on the old package. They are, yeah. All instruments, you'll have noticed, are this same format. So it's speed on the left, altitude, there's a dial here, modern ones it's a speed tape here, and then the Airbus PFD is a absolute jewel, because it also has your heading on the bottom and your track, so you can see the drift, so you can get everything you need from the PFD, whereas here we have to look down to here for their heading, over here for the altitude. That's the other things. Right, how are we doing on heights? 20. We've got 30 miles to go. It's time to get going down, I think. Double change, retard speed. Keep doing 250 for now. Seth says, guys, I think scan might be important. Exactly. I should try the Brutan power approach, Tristan. I should do that. Matthew says, you get the fun of trying to understand what on earth Tokyo controller is saying on a scratchy HF frequency at the end of it. Yeah, I bet. It must be exhausting flying with HF. HF is the long-range sort of radio transmissions, which can be obviously difficult to understand because they are distorted after a long range. There we go. There's the airport. It's just down here. And our colleague is in front of us. So we're going to go a beam a little bit high, actually. But we are now diving down. A lot of drag on this airplane. I so hope we see the Beluga. Oh, it's so pretty, though. So pretty. Love that livery. Thanks for all those follows and subscriptions. And I'm so sorry that it seems to have just suddenly done them at once. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. I did do GCSEs. Adam says, I flew Heathrow to Changi on flight sim the other day. 11.5 hours, and midway down the glide slope, all the screens went blank. Oh, that's a shame, Adam. Yeah, sorry to hear it. Frank says, look at the instrumentation of older airplanes. It was a nightmare. Last person to install some instruments, place them in the centre, and move the other instruments to fit. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like the MD-80 is very different, but you'll still see that the altimeter is on the right. This, I don't know when this was first established as the way it's going to be, but it certainly is the way it is. Right, we're catching up with our colleague now, so we're going to have to come back to 220. Profile and speed brakes. That's all we can do now, because they'll be doing the profile. So very powerful speed brakes on this airplane because it deploys all of them. Unusual. There's all the boats, so this must be from my pack, the landmark pack. Flex, you're very welcome, and thanks so much. Yeah, that would be an interesting idea. I like the idea of that. Do a few videos. Oh, sorry, do a video with all the different approaches. I do the challenging approach videos, but those aren't necessarily ones I just enjoy. They're just sort of quite fun. So it's spooling up. Speed brakes in. See the localized wing glide slope showing up. Thanks for the subscription, Stian. How close is our colleague? That's 6 mile range. So, ooh, 3 miles in front of us. They are very close. So I'm going to sink the Edinburgh heading.
7 on the downwind for runway 02 left. We are 6 miles from Sana.
Oh, they're 3 miles in front of us, so we better slow down. Singapore traffic, Singapore 322 downwind at 9 miles from Sanet now, so we will slow down.
We'll keep a speed up for a while to get spacing for you guys. Scooter 307.
Copy, thank you. Why can I hear myself? Now let's pause that. Yeah, we'll just carry on downwind like this, give them a chance. So speed brakes in, we don't need those anymore. Enjoy the livery for a bit longer. My sim is running smoothly, but I can see the stream might not be. Oh, what's going on there? Am I double tuned? Oh. Press the wrong button there. Test. Test. Indeed, double tune. Thanks very much. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you. Right, too busy fiddling with the radios. I'm just going to pull the speed now because that's ridiculous. We don't want to be that slow. Thank you. Let's go to flap 1 because we're now going the wrong way. Let's pull the vertical speed. Let's get this into our hands here. 6,000 feet. Dimmy of 8 miles. Sorry, 12 miles from the runway. We can turn around in a moment. Our colleague is on the base leg over there, so I'm going to let them carry on that way. They're keeping the speed up. We'll slow down a bit. All good. We are indeed on that sim. Matthew says, and a phone call from the chief pilot. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I used F9 to transmit on that sim, and I pressed, I think, F8, which just dropped full flaps. There we go. I don't think the 310 offers anything more. It's just it carries more passengers and more weight, hence cargo operators still use it. In terms of flying, no. 320 is just more advanced. Right, let's turn around then. Keep the normal bank angle limit. Pretty much north we're going to go to, I think, here. Wind is... oh, we'll see. Just got to make sure it sequences correctly for us. 5,000 feet, 16 miles out. All good. Reducing net rate of descent, 700 feet per minute. Speed is under control, 200 knots. It's been quite lazy with its speed keeping. It is in speed mode, so it should be keeping 200.
Scooter 307 established on the ILS 02 left, 7.0 DME.
The trigger for the comms is on the side stick in real life, James. It is indeed. J Hardwork says, how does FMS compare? This one's fine, it's similar, but and some things I like, but otherwise it doesn't have the colour screen, and the colour screen is useful, seeing the magenta and the blue. The coding that the Airbus uses for sort of computer controlled and not is very good. Right, we'll do north for a bit. 190 knots, 15 miles out. Very good. That's where we'd like to be. Definitely time for the approach checklist. Approach checklist signs. Whoops. On and auto. Briefing confirmed. ECAM status is checked. That's all good. Altimeters are set on 1013. Minimums 222. Yep. Ignition and landing animation all set. Ignition, we're going to leave it in off. Don't need it for this one. I can see there's some serious... I think I can see some lag, so I do apologise. Again, my sim isn't lagging. It's frustrating. I don't know what's going on there. I'm getting high now. Mustn't get distracted here. Let's get some more flap out. Slow right down. And we need to drop the altitude. This is my fault. So glider from above is what we're getting into here. So we do level change. Arm land. Pull the vertical speed. So we got glide slope and lock VS, but we are high. VS 1500 is being very slow to do that though. Very slow. Speed brakes out. Gear down. Next stage of flap. Go on aeroplane. Down you go. Right, there you go. Now the flaps at whatever 3 would be, 20 and 20. So we're already at landing flap with the gear down. Glide slips coming in. Let's do 1500s. Actually going to sneak a little bit left to set that localizer. Speed brake coming in now. Going to 1000s. Feet per minute. And I need to wind the altitude above us so it doesn't capture. Well, that's what I didn't want it to do. So I'm just going to pull the vertical speed again. BS out, glide slope blue, localizer blue, and we'll just keep it 800s. And we'll put 4000 in the window now. Just want to wind it up out the way so it's above you. Again, could be a different technique on the 310. Let's arm the ground spoilers. Yeah, not the official way of doing this, but a way of doing it. Beautiful scenery, the landmarks. That must be what's causing the lag, but it looks great. Now, do I need to do that? Final approach. Done. It's done. But managing the speed doesn't seem to do much. So we've got a VAP of 149, we agreed. So let's just put 149 in. There you go, lock star. Let's level that off, 2,000 feet. Pretty low, pretty sporty final, but not the most shocking. We're within half a lot of the glide slope.
Scooter 307, vacate as near to left.
And Singapore traffic, Singapore 322, final 02 left, 6 miles. Good stuff. So, landing checks. Landing gear is down. Auto brake, low. Anti-skids, norm on and checked. Slats, flaps, 20, 20. Spoilers, armed. Yeah, great stuff. No, the sim's absolutely fine. What I'm really impressed with is how well the A310 is running today so far. We had real trouble with it when we first flew it on stream. This is really nice. I've got to say the performance of the sim has been great. There's something going on with my computer and having all that scenery. If I go outside, my sim runs smooth as butter. Unfortunately, it does not work for you guys. I don't know why. I don't know why it does that. I'm going to add a little bit of speed to that because it's not really keeping it. Come on, airplane. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, the rudder inputs is a stop because there was an Airbus, one of these old ones that had too much rudder input. It did rip the tail off. Very sad. So this is our first of 2020 landing. Look how nose high it is. We shall see how this handles. Singapore traffic, Singapore 322, landing 02 left at 2 miles. Ooh, that's seriously nose high, and it's not doing a good job. Let's try 155. Come on, airplane. Okay, 152. It's just a couple of knots for the speed. Autopilot off. Unfortunately. So it's in speed mode, so it should idle them. I'm going to sit high. No, actually, no, I'm not going to sit low. Oh, it's breezy today. I should have definitely done the other flaps. Full flaps would have been much better. It should idle for us, but as it's spooling up and down, it's really affecting the trim of the aircraft.
Sync rate 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
There we go. Spoilers. Reverse. Green. Decel. I think we got away with that. Yeah, I don't like lower flap settings in turbulent conditions. I'm not a fan. I much prefer higher flap. I should have probably checked the wind a bit more carefully there. 80 knots. I think we'll take this exit here. Take forward idle. And off we go. Even the follow notification in the corner went laggy in the exterior camera. I'd say the issue is nothing to sim. No, agreed. Agreed. It's something to do with my computer not liking the way I've got this set up, and I don't know what the reason is. Sim was beautifully smooth there. Oh, so new. Singapore traffic, Singapore 322, runway 02 left vacated. Right, well, welcome to Changi Airport. What fun. We've done another flight in another part of the world. Finally got to use this beautiful Singapore livery. Absolutely love it. We'll just take one of these stands here, I think. So, I didn't record. I knew I'd forgotten something. No replay today, I'm afraid. That is my mistake. I can only apologise. Oh. There's so many things going on today. So, in that case, we'll do the full after landing. Flaps up. Oh, that seems to have recentered to... no, look at that. What's going on there? What's going on there? Seb says, interesting, for GA, less flap is preferable for gusty. Indeed, yes. And in wind shear conditions, less flap you need. But in turbulent conditions, it's all about, yeah, for me, more flap. The reason is, in a propeller airplane with less flap, you've still got very direct control of the engine and the energy in the airplane because, of course, the throttle is quite responsive. In a jet aircraft like that, you saw how poor the speed control was. That's because the engines are right back at these low speeds where they are really slow to react, so it doesn't hold the speed very well. So then you combine that with the high nose, and yeah, I'm not a fan. Some people love it though. Yeah, that is just me. We didn't turn the landing lights on either. 10,000 feet. There you go. Anyway, they can stay off now. Strobe lights can come off. AP's on the way. After landing for the second time today, flaps are retracted. Transponder can go to transponder. Weather radar off. Spoilers are disarmed. APU started. We'll take this stand here. So a lot of flaps good for turbulence. Yes, I would say. In my opinion, on the aircraft I fly or have flown, more flaps it gives you slightly better control in my experience, or opinion I should say. Although Airbus does now recommend more flaps for turbulent condition, and flap 3 for wind shear conditions. The reason is you need that extra energy. Are you capturing the game or the monitor? I'm capturing the game. So I think that should be fine. Archive says, hey, how you need to sub to this channel and watch a full minute of its videos, because now I don't know what the landing looked like. It should have shown up anyway though. You should be able to watch the video. I think that's just for the chat. I think. AP available. Let's shut it down. Oh, we can do the full thing today. It's unusual for us. Let's get the chocks, GPU jetway. Open up some cargo. Open up door 1 left. Awesome. Engines are spooled down. Beacon off. Transponder off. And let's disconnect from VATSIM. Well, it doesn't matter actually. Oh, that's not right, is it? That's our wing view. Let's get the drone out. And there we are. Oh, it's quite nice to finish on stand for once. It's a bit of a treat. So, 90 feet per minute. Was that the landing, was it? Impian says, you're landing from the outside, model matching. Thanks, Impian. Excellent. Yeah. Oh, it's really lagging. I'm so sorry. Let's put the camera here. Excellent. Right. Well, absolutely loved that. Really enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for joining us today on the stream. Don't know what's going on with my the lag there, but hopefully my voice is coming through okay. Yeah, I think we got away with that landing. So apologies there's no replay today. I remember that next time. Thank you all so much for coming along, and I hope you had a great Christmas if you celebrated Christmas, and thank you to everyone who's joined us and chatted today. Thanks to the moderators as ever for looking after us, keeping us safe. Really appreciate it. And thanks of course to those of you who've very, very kindly donated. Really appreciate the support of the channel. I look forward to what we'll get up to next year, coming very soon next year, isn't it? And we'll have some good fun. We'll do our 70,000 subscriber stream. Of course, we will do something for that one. I'm not gonna miss that one. So I will get the plans going, and of course another special mention to Phil Norbeck and Captain Norbeck. So yeah, thank you to Phil for that very kind donation. And again, sorry if you lost our thoughts with you, and hopefully next year can bring you some calm and peace and enjoyment. But yeah, thank you all so much once again. Thank you for the chatting along. Thank you for watching along. And thank you to everyone who flew along as well. And of course, to those fantastic controllers. Happy New Year. It's been a pleasure as always. I will play the outro music for you. Sorry there's no replay. But yeah, thank you all so much again to everyone for watching, chatting, donating, controlling, flying. It's the only reason I come back and do these so much is because it's just such a treat to interact with you all. So have a fantastic New Year celebration if you are going to, or a nice calm evening in, whichever you prefer, and we'll see you next year. Thanks so much. Bye bye.